Why didn't the slime go? There's supposed to be a slime animation that happens. How disappointing. Hello, it's me. Thought Slime, you know me. You're probably the one you came here to watch. I have terrible news. I come bearing grim tidings. Before the stream started, I thought I would treat myself to a can of bubbly. Here's the problem. Don't buy this shit right now. This is scab juice, I'm realizing. I'm drinking a cold scab juice because the Frito-Lay Corporation is on strike. They have horrific conditions for their workers, and they are owned by PepsiCo, who also own Bubbly. Now, in my defense, I bought this before the strike started. It's from a case that I bought before the strike started. But it's still scab juice. And I'm still gonna drink it. I think it would be bad solidarity to buy it. I don't think drinking it is a problem. They already got the money. I can't take the money back. I hope you can hear me. Otherwise, I look like a maniac, just waving a can of soda around. Hey, here, little story about me. Maybe you didn't know this. I got about 2 hours sleep last night. So that's my situation. I took 2 melatonins. I was so in need of sleep. I was sleepy to begin with. I went to sleep for a couple minutes. Then I woke up and I could not get back to sleep. So if the vibe is a bit off today, that's why. That's why you might notice a difference in the vibe. Is the music still too loud? I feel like things are getting better. And what's cool is it's Thursday. And Thursdays, it's my busiest day. So it's cool that I didn't get any sleep last night, which is not, it's exactly what I wanted to happen. I found the perfect volume. Swish. Kobe. It's like, hey, human body, if you're tired, you should sleep. I don't know how many people out there in Chatland have experienced restless leg syndrome. It has such a funny name. This music is too loud for me. It has such a funny name for a condition, for a syndrome. But it's not funny. It really sucks. I don't know because from the sound, what people think it is, and what I thought it was until I experienced it, was that your leg is jittery, right? Like your leg can't stop moving, which is just, that seems annoying, right? What it actually is this tremendous discomfort in your leg unless you move it. So that it's just like you feel like you have to move your leg and you can't stop it. But it's not pain. And it would almost be better if it was. Pain, at least I know I could pop like an Advil, no prob. This there's nothing you can do. It's just like, hey, you had exactly 1 too many coffees today. So guess what? Your leg is in rebellion. Your leg is in open rebellion against you. So that's what that's like. It's hard to describe what it's like. I've taken hold of restless leg with clonazepam. Isn't that like a muscle relaxer? I had precisely one experience with a medication of that type, and it was not great. I took one. What's the one that it's like the heavy duty, high abuse potential anxiety medication? What's that one called? Because what it does is, I thought it would like calm you down. It doesn't. It merely prevents. Xanax. That's the one. Thank you. Jesus, this music keeps getting louder, huh? The volume slider on my computer right now is at 3. I've never seen the volume this low and something be this loud. It's unbelievable. So it was Xanax. I took it once because something bad happened to my family. I was having a panic attack. My partner at the time's like, here, take a Xanny. You're going to need this. And what I thought it would do is it would calm you down. Instead, it stops your body from having the physical symptoms of panic so that you cannot work up any energy, but your mind is still going a mile a minute. It was a nightmare. That being said, like, everybody reacts to medication differently, so don't let me, if your doctor prescribes you Xanax, don't let me talk you out of it. Happy Thursday, Mildred. Thank you, Carmine B. Carmina B. This is a thing. I wish you could just talk about like bad experiences with medication without having to give that caveat. Is because like everybody does react differently, and I think it is irresponsible to just kind of go like to tell a bad story and then not kind of say like, but hey, you know, it's might work for you. I had to take it after going to Auschwitz on an educational, and it didn't work. I too went to a death camp as an educational tour when I was in high school. It wasn't Auschwitz. I think it was Dachau. It's been a long time, but I too was greatly affected, but luckily I did not have a panic attack. Hello, Mildred. Have I seen the movie Horns? If not, it's really good. You know, I passed it over at the time, but it was written by Joe Hill, and I really liked the book Nosferatu. And so I should check it out. And I also liked Lock and Key, the comic. I haven't seen the Netflix show yet, but I really like the comic. So I'll have to check that out. Don't take benzos unless absolutely necessary. Also, let's unite the left and find some common sense and common ground. Well, if we had common sense, obviously, we wouldn't be on the left. We believe in unicorns and magic money trees. Could you please remind me if there are any shortenings of Mildred you allow/enjoy? Miss Kitty Cat Gamer, I am not your boss. I can't tell you what to call me. You call me whatever brings you good feelings. Worry not about. I'm the person that once very consciously named himself Stink Matt and allowed that nickname to stick. I am absolutely not sensitive about what people call me. Believe me, whatever you call me, I've been called worse. Also, extreme sexual violence content warning for Horns. That's good for other people in the chat to hear. It doesn't particularly trigger me when I watch movies, but it's a good thing for people that it does to know. Thank you for mentioning that. My pitbull came to check out the stream and says he loves your wings. Your pitbull is mistaken. I have no wings today. It's merely runny mascara. Because the wildfires in Vancouver are sending the smoke to us right now. And I've never experienced this before, but like my eyes sting. Like it hurts, man. Calling you LD what does that stand for? Little Dicky? Like the rapper Little Dicky? I worry that people are going to call you mildew because get it, haha, slime, get it? But that the joke's going to get really, really old really, really fast. Oh, for sure. But you don't think THOT slime has gotten old? It's... You mustn't worry about such things. This is my burden to bear. Generally speaking, overall, is Canada a better country than the US? Better in what way? I would say it's probably better to live in, yes. Because and with a noted exception, which I will get to in a second, we have free medical care, so that's a big plus. Beyond that, I think Canada, it pretty much is the US. And the one noted exception I would say is that Canada's treatment of Indigenous people is fucking brutal. And I think that's really come to light in the past few weeks with the few months with the uncovering of mass graves of Indigenous children and the resultant cruelty of so many Canadians towards it. But in general, I think it's a bad idea to someone in the chat. Huh? I'll take care of this. I think it's a bad idea to like ask if countries are good or bad. Like it's all countries, like all states are evil for sure. But I was just chanting the word Jew. That's an interesting troll. I don't know what is anyway, they're gone. Are they calling me a Jew? I don't know. It's weird. It's weird because that would only be an insult to an anti-Semite, so it doesn't really bother me. Is Know Your Fash not online with TS 3.0? I might wait a while on that one. I might wait a while before making more Know Your Fash. But I feel like I gotta make one on Nosballs. I feel like that needs to happen. Am I from BC? No, I'm from Newfoundland, baby, but I live in Ontario. Don't they mean globalist? Are you Jewish? I would prefer not to answer that question while there are people that you're not the real Markiplier. Get out of here. I don't think the real Markiplier would say that, frankly. I think Markiplier would have more sense than... Oh, shit. Shit. I think I accidentally banged the wrong person. No. Boy, I can't get to him fast enough. Because Eric Sophie is banning them. They got the fastest hands in the Old West. I don't need to tell you to go subscribe to Curio. You already know. If you're not subscribed to Curio, you fucked up, and you oh, I'm so mad at you. Where are they all coming from? Thank you for the engagement, though. YouTube now thinks my stream is just like popping. I blame Caleb Moppin. I try to blame him for as many of my problems as I can. There's so many. Yeah, we are owned. That is true. So much for the tolerant left. You're not the real ISIS terrorist. The real ISIS terrorist wouldn't say that. Do more horror VR streams? For Halloween, sure, but they're too scary. See, this is a mistake because my eyes are like stinging. So I'm gonna like smudge my mascara. I did an unscripted ramble video today. You are braver than I will ever be. I could not do such a thing. Spent more time discussing mopping than I intended. That's exactly what would happen to me. We can't be tolerant towards Nazis. I know, I was doing a joke. You gotta wonder. You gotta wonder, right? It's like they're like, we're gonna show them. We're gonna go into their stream and we're gonna type stuff to make them mad. And it's like, yeah, but why don't you just like go play video games or something? Like, why don't you just like why don't you pick up your Nintendo Switch and play a video game instead and just have some fun, do something you enjoy? Like, it's so weird to me. It's gorge, ride the smudge. You're gonna see this like all like you know that lady in Planet Terror with the needle? That's gonna be me by the end of this stream. What is Newfoundland like? Cold and rainy, and beautiful, and everybody there is friendly to me anyway. And it's bleak and jobless. As a good leftist, here is your 5 Soros bucks. Yes, obviously that is how you prove you're a good leftist, is by giving money directly to me. This is so bad. It's so bad. Big drywall man, thank you for the super chat. What is this music? It's just a Stream Beats playlist. The particular playlist is 100 Thieves Hype Tracks Volume 1. What do you think of Maoism being the political architecture of a new society, but a culturally anarchist philosophy being applied to it with the right to rebel practice? I don't really understand what that would look like. If what you're like, those two philosophies seem entirely inconsistent to me. I don't understand how they could work together in that way. Like, and maybe someone who's more educated on Maoism can answer this better than I can, but wouldn't the right to rebel essentially nullify the mass line? Like, isn't the idea that it's centralized and top down and like, isn't that the whole point? Smoky Eyes is very in, embrace it. Smoky is a very charitable way of putting it. Here's what I need is I'm learning quickly. I gotta get some fucking concealer. I don't know shit about concealer, and it's so intimidating. I have to get my wife to come with me because I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. Poop and butts indeed, big drywall man. Your avatar is a goose, and yet your name is Big Drywall Man, and that's a very funny image. 5-star leftist here. Exactly. That's A-tier leftism. Old mass line being rebuked for a new one essentially from the ground up. I don't know what that means. I think that I'm not educated enough on Maoism to give you a good answer. My perhaps misguided understanding is that most statist communist ideologies toe a pretty hard line with regards to like whether people are allowed to disobey them. What do you think of TPUSA and Charlie Kirk? I think they're great. I think we can all agree they're great. I think they do nothing but good for the world. I think he's very embarrassing, isn't he? He's such a little dweebus. What a little dork lord. I love that this is the guy they thought, oh, he'll bring in the young people. There's a guy in my high school who, every day wore a suit and carried a briefcase, and that's who I think of when I look at Charlie Kirk. Charlie Kirk wore a suit every day to high school, I'm sure of it. Hi Mildred, would you mind if I drew you, and is there anything you would like me to include or just a vibe to go for? Nobody needs my permission to draw me. One thing I would request is that you show me the drawing. I'd like if you DM it to me on Twitter, that would be great. But you don't have to do that if you don't want to. I think it would be weird if I was like, I'm going to put my face all over YouTube, but if you want to make art with it, then I'm going to be mad at you. That seems like a weird line to take. But yeah, just do whatever you want. Draw whatever makes your heart sing. Have I heard about the Creepshow art situation? I'll be honest. Every third YouTube thumbnail on my feed is about Creepshow Arts. I have no idea who she is. I know that one side of her hair is black and the other side is red. And I know that she like stalked somebody or basically like just fucked over somebody. I tried to watch someone's video on it, but it was like 30 minutes of them explaining how careful they had to be about the situation because of the harassment they were dealing with. And I was just like, yeah, what happened though? And eventually I was like, why am I listening to this? I don't know any of these people. Why do I care? He absolutely and purely has the exact same. Nobody wants to be near this cringe lord energy. Yeah, but like not in a way that makes you feel sad for him, which I think is impressive. Sorry about your eyeshadow being itchy. I have allergies too, so I totally get it. Anyways, have you watched Revolutionary Girl Lutina by chance? I think I watched a couple episodes in high school in my local anime society because I was part of my anime society in high school. I should mention though, my eyeshadow isn't itchy. It's the air. We're getting smoke from Vancouver, and it's fucking up my eyes. Something fierce that has nothing to do with it. I unwisely chose to put on makeup after my eyes started to itch. Also, ILS, what is this unit of currency? I must know. Hey Mildred, I am exploring anarchism, but ADHD is deemed most in-depth sources of info inaccessible. Any recommendations for channels / audiobooks / movies? I don't know to get into. Yeah, there's like so many channels. You can basically go through like the channels tab on my channel and get a million recommendations. Libertarian Socialist Platform, Zoe Baker, and if you're looking for like some lighter stuff, where's me? You can go. The Non-Compete has some good videos. I don't agree with everything Non-Compete says, but I agree with him more than I don't typically. Oh, Israeli shekel. Okay. Someone donated a burger. Where was I? I know I'm going to leave people out, and I feel bad about that. Thorpe Sloop, I hope this goes through. I wanted to know if you could give me some money. Things have been rough lately. Why did you donate to me? Cancel this donation if you... This is just a confusing thing to do. St. Andrewism, that's a must. Yes, St. Andrew is a good channel. There's a lot of, you can just go through the Eyeball Zone master list. Also, there's a lot of good ones in there. Whatever that is. Have I heard about the new TERF book by Helen Joyce and the plagiarism allegations about it by open Nazi Jennifer Billick? Imagine if you can't even think of your own fucking TERF ideas. The easiest ideas in the world to shit out because nobody cares if they're any good and you can't even think of your own. What a wiener. Death, the First 5,000 Years by David Graeber is essential reading, and there's a really nicely read audiobook. That's another thing. If the issue is just that reading in particular, Audible Anarchist has a lot of audiobooks you can listen to for free. I gave you my last $10. It was worth it. Thank you sincerely. Please don't do that. If it's your last $10, please keep it and buy yourself something that you want. This is just the silly stream, and you don't gotta worry about me. I'm doing fine. Don't put yourself out. What's my favorite platformer video game, 2D or otherwise? That's a good question. I want to say Yoshi's Island, probably. That's a really good one, isn't it? Super Mario Brothers 3. Sorry, Mario Brothers 3. Those two, probably. We gonna play any games tonight, TS? Probably not. We might watch some Nicole Arbor videos, though. People have been asking me to do that, and I got a good one. Have I played A Hat in Time? I haven't. I'll be honest, it looked pretty boring. Celeste to me is good, but something about the way that it's all connected drives me up the wall. So I kind of prefer Super Meat Boy, which is the same kind of gameplay, but I feel like because it's like discrete levels, it just appeals to me more for some reason. I don't know. Hi Mildred and Eric/Sophie. I love the content that both of you make. Please know that both of you make the world better by spreading your ideas and values. Heart. I gotta sleep now because 2:30 in Sweden. Take care and fight on. Trans rights. Heart. I don't know if this is possible, and I don't know if chat would be open to this, but could I get a trans rights in chat? Super Mario World is the only correct answer. Not even the best Mario game. What's my take on Onision? I don't think you've ever spoken about him on your channel. If there's a reason for that, I get it. I mean, I don't speak about most online weirdos on my... What kind of channel do you think I'm running here? He seems like a weird creep and a cringe lord. And a kind of a groomer, and fuck that guy. This is my first $5. I've been holding on to it since childhood. It's bookended nicely. Have I seen Bo Burnham's special Inside, and do I have any particularly strong feelings about it? It was very moving, and I think it was the finest piece of art that I've seen this year. And it's kind of like fucking up my own butt to call it a piece of art, but it really was. It really affected me. I realized I'm not reading Twitch chat. I'm looking at the wrong chat. My mistake. I'm so sorry, Twitch people. I got my eye on the YouTube chat because there was a bunch of Nazis that came in earlier. I will now no longer neglect Twitch. Thoughts on the Loki show? Have I watched it? I think it's the best of this recent crop of Marvel shows. I really enjoyed it, to be honest. It was just so off the wall and visually wonderful. I loved... Like, it just kept getting better. Like, I liked the when they met the other Lokis in the Edge of Time, and the old man Loki, who's like looks like the Loki from the original comics. Do I like ska? Not a big fan. I know you're just trying to get people riled up at me because I don't like ska. And the ska stands are out in force every stream. I'm a mental health care professional. I was wondering if you had a thought or knew any sources on managing mental health care without government structure. I don't really. And I would be hesitant to make recommendations about it even, because I feel like it's the type of thing that I think it's you gotta be real careful in a position like mine when you say stuff about things like that, because you can give people advice that can be genuinely dangerous. So I'm sorry if that's an unsatisfying answer. but I don't. Hello, my closest parasocial friend. What path do you take in New Vegas? Also, trans rights for the win. I seize power because I don't trust any of the factions to wield it. And I like to think that once my character seizes power, they then return it to the people of New Vegas. But the ending doesn't make that clear. You should do a makeup tutorial of your progress? Maybe. Do I have any plans to finish my Hollow Knight Let's Play? Also, maybe. When I move next, I will have more time to stream. I can't really stream right now during the day, which I know people are always like, oh, I wish you streamed at different times because it's hard for me in this time zone. And like, yeah, I know. But like, my wife works 9 to 5 in the same office. So it's not like I can like kick her out and be like, hey, Molly, get out of here. I'm going to play some Hollow Knight. Can't really do that, so... I know you can't judge someone or their ideas based on entirely on who they associate with, but as of late, I've been really thrown for a loop by Peter Coffin doing vids with Caleb Maupin. Well, let me set your mind at ease. You don't have to judge Peter Coffin by who they spend time with, because they're just a piece of shit in general. So there's no conflict here. Have I gotten my hands on Caleb's book? I want to read it so bad, but I don't want to give him money. I have, I could read it if I wanted to. But like, what am I going to get out of it? I feel like I've seen enough funny YouTubers dunking on him, reading his book and dunking on him for me. I don't really feel the need to go out and get the book. But I too would never give him money deliberately. And if I were going to buy one of his books, it wouldn't be the BreadTube book. It would be Satan at the Fountainhead, the CIA and the banking lobby. Or Israel and the banking lobby, rather. Are you going to move to a place with a bigger basement? That's the hope. I don't have a basement at all right now. But if we move to a place that has a big basement, I can just set up all of my equipment there. So right now, what I do when I want to film is I like take out all of my lights and I set them up and then film and then take them all down and just hope that the footage is good enough and I got coverage. But when we get to a new place, if we can ever afford to buy it, then I can set up my equipment, just leave it up. I can stream anytime during the day. I'm gonna have sets so that it's not always gonna be in front of the green screen. I'm gonna have some sets, particularly one for Scaredy Cats. ATS, thanks from London, England. You're doing great work. I didn't think it would be from London, Ontario, because no one from London, Ontario would be polite. I messaged you in Discord, is that okay? Again, I can't tell you not to message me. If I don't like your message, I simply won't respond. Like this, people ask me for permission to do strange things sometimes. Like people will message me and they'll be like, "Hey, I hope I'm not bothering you, but can I ask you a question?" If I don't have time to answer your question, I'm not going to be like, "How dare you message me? You piece of crap. How dare you?" I'm just going to be like, I'm just going to leave that alone right now because I don't have time. Am I sticking in Toronto? Toronto? Absolutely. That is a must for me. I'm way behind. Hey, yo, Mildred, have you been to Boston? What are your thoughts on these guys? I have never been to the United States of America. It has never been an option for me to go. Oh dang, but I like the green screens. I'm not cutting them out. I'm just saying I can introduce some variety. Have I seen Repo the Genetic Opera? I actually haven't. It's like a horror sci-fi musical. That's like that is my it's not up my alley, that is my alley. My evening has been blessed with live slime. Hello. Love your content. Thank you so much for doing this and sharing it with us. It's literally the least I can do. I get paid to do it. Watch it. I have 3 copies in the house. 3 copies of what? Hi, Thought Slime. I close with diversity community. I don't know what you mean by I close with diversity communities. Known as employee resource groups in a corporate setting. Wanted to thank you for how helpful your video on white people discussing these ideas with other white people. I'm not sure I understand. I wanted to thank you for how helpful your video on white people. I'm assuming you meant to say how helpful your video on white people was discussing these ideas with other white people. Which is a message that is very nice, but now I'm wondering if I've made a horrible mistake and I'm going to get in trouble. That's what having an anxiety disorder is like. People are like, hey, good job. And I'm like, oh no, what did I do wrong? I will say that, like, I'm just gonna move this wire. Hopefully, I'm sorry. I'm gonna mute this for 1 sec. Better. Isn't that nicer? Have I heard about the political situation in Poland? No, I haven't. What's going on in Poland? Put it back? Never. I'll die before I put it back. Top 3 birds. Crows. Number 1. Number 2. Ducklings. Number 3. I don't know. Penguins? Ostriches. Ostriches would be number 3. Missed dinosaurs? No, I didn't. I did. They just didn't chart. Shit sucks in Poland. Fascists are in power. Ooh. Any thoughts on coping with Ontario just kind of flipping the switch on pretending the pandemic is over? It's not the first time they've done it, so I'm kind of used to it at this point. But at least this time, here in Toronto, like 4 out of 6 people are vaccinated, and that's a weirdly specific number. And also, I'm thinking now I could have just said 2 out of 3, but so it doesn't feel like as big a deal now, and part of that could be because I'm also vaccinated. But like, people are still wearing masks and shit, but yeah, we're not out of the woods, especially with the Delta variant. Have I seen a Freddy Got Fingered? Yes, but I have not seen the movie of the same name. If all wibbles are kriggles, all borkins are quamblumpkins, no hoggles are borkins, and all kriggles are borkins, is it true that all borkins are kriggles? Nope. It isn't. Do I win? Polish government are anti-LGBT fash who say that gay people are all pedophiles and increasingly LGBT people are having to flee the country. Jesus. That's horrible. One of my favorite things last year in school was studying with your stream on, so I'm looking forward to that in September. What's it like to have a normal brain? Where you can have something in the background and study. I couldn't just study by itself. I especially couldn't study with some bozo yapping in my ear. I just got my 12th... Oh my god, what is... This is going to take me a few cracks to say, Lisa. I just got my 12th turf banned from Twitter. That's going to be my new vocal warm-up. 12th turf. But good, you're doing the Lord's work, Lisa. Anytime I tangle with a turf on Twitter, I end up being the one put into Twitter jail. Just wanted to say thank you for the eyeball zone. Don't know what that means. One of the creators you highlighted, Zobi, is doing really well. It made me proud of you. Oh, well, you should be proud of Zoe. She's doing incredible. I don't know why her channel doing well would make you proud of me. But yeah, Zobi is great. She's done a number. I watch pretty much all of her videos. I'm a big Zobi stan. Have I seen Silicon Valley before? It's a show made by the same guy who created King of the Hill, and it's actually pretty good. I saw the first season, and I was like, yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. Having worked in a startup, it's like, yeah, that's what it's like. But also, I can't stand. I know he leaves because he got canceled. I can't stand TJ Miller. I can't fucking put up with him. I hate his guts. He's so annoying. I don't understand how people ever thought he was funny. He's this type of comedian that was really popular at the time, of just guys who steal all of the gas from the scene. Like guys who walk into the scene and like shit all over everyone else's performance and like take all of the energy and like focus and put it on themselves. I'll tell you who else is like that. Is what's his face from Portlandia. Every scene he's in, he is just like making it all like, focus the camera on me and I will show you some interesting stuff. Look, I'm hiding behind a curtain. Aren't I wacky? Can't stand him. That being said, he was great in Los Spookies. He helped produce that show, and that show is very underrated. If you have not seen Los Spookies, it's a show about a group of Mexicans that develop a business that is designed around tricking people into thinking that their houses are haunted. Seeing as how it's been 35 years since the Chernobyl nuclear disaster, I'm curious to know your thoughts on the HBO miniseries from 2019. I thought it was pretty good. I mean, I don't know much about the history of Chernobyl. I don't know why I say that's obvious, like it's, but it is, because let's face it, I'm a hack and a fraud. I don't know if they got some of the details wrong, but I thought it demonstrated the kind of bureaucratic nightmare that kind of makes tragedies like that kind of more damaging than they need to be. I think a lot of people were like, this show is anti-communist, and it's like the Soviet Union in the 80s wasn't exactly communist, guys. Like, let's chill out for a minute here. I'm getting approved for top surgery, and I'm celebrating by giving you money because you're a big inspiration for me. Congratulations. That's incredible. What are my thoughts on Louis C.K.? Not a fan. Because of all of this sexual assault. Have you played the Lefty game Tonight We Riot? Indeed I have. I have played it on stream. Los Spookies. Thank you. I was saying it wrong. Tonight We Riot is great. It's a lot of fun. It's too hard, but it's a lot of fun. The Soviet Union was never communist. Yes, I know. I'm being diplomatic. I don't love that Chernobyl will be read as communism bad, but what else is there? What else is new there? I mean, did you expect HBO to, like, come out defending the immortal science of Marxism-Leninism? Did you expect HBO to be like, yeah, we're fully in? You know, it's like, you have to kind of, like, people get so upset about stuff like this. People need to adjust their expectations. Don't tell the tankies that, they'll burn you alive. No, they'll just call me a liberal. And they're gonna do that either way. Hey Slime Friend, here's my annual tax return donation. This is 2 years running now. Thank you, and I'm glad to steal $5 from the Australian government. If companies were really in on worker rights, they would automatically convert to worker co-ops. You know, this is a thing. I was listening to Behind the Bastards the other day, and they pointed out a huge flaw in worker co-ops that I'd never considered before, which is if everyone who works for the company has a stake of ownership in the company, they are financially incentivized never to hire more people and to hire, and the people they do work with to hire as contract workers who aren't full employees, which I guess is already happening in the gig economy anyway. But it's like, there's got to be something in place to deal with that. That's going to be a problem. Would love to see you cover the 2021 film Censor. I think it'd be right up your alley. I got my eye on it. Zots is here. Everybody go subscribe. Twitch.tv/Kemazots_alter. What was Zots? What was the final count on your charity stream for the Milwaukee Autonomous Tenants Union? The union I'm in has rules forcing the company to hire permanent employees when warranted. This is why you need to. Unions will still be necessary even with worker co-ops. If you are anti-Lenin, you are silly. Plain and simple, anti-Stalin is okay, but you shouldn't be anti-Lenin. He was one of the only true principled communists to have lived. Well, here's the thing is that, and you'll find this actually about a lot of historical figures. Many people disagree. Just over 3K. That's incredible. Congratulations. The thing is, if the show Chernobyl was about Soviet communism, it's like, what's the point of that? Because it doesn't exist anymore. I think it's very clearly trying to say, like, hey, these same problems are going to hamstring us in our liberal democracies when disasters happen here. And by the way, they were completely right, because look what happened when we had a huge pandemic and fucking everywhere was like, we don't know what to do because we don't give a shit about people. Thank you, Mildred. Your courage helped me come out as being non-binary, and now I rock a skirt at work every day. Whoa, that is boss as hell. Hey, Thoughtslime, do you have any tips or tricks for when you smoke way too much weed by accident? Yes. I would recommend that you watch the film Gremlins. It has the exact right energy, and it's going to cure you if you watch the film Gremlins. And also, it's going to wear off. You're fine. Not a big deal. Feels like a big deal right now. It's not. You're going to feel fine later. Hey Mildred, I was expecting to have to pay more when I got on tea, but I didn't, so I have some of the money I saved. Haha! I used to green out all the time. I have a lot of experience with smoking too much weed. This is all in theory, right? The real Thoughtslime would never smoke weed because that's a crime. Perhaps in your backwards totalitarian state, but here in Canada, it's fully legal. I once smoked so much weed I fainted while taking a piss, and somehow I managed not to piss on myself. The body is a miracle. You're capable of so much more than you think you are. What advice would you give someone who wants to start a YouTube channel about genre films similar to Scaredy Cats? Nothing you do for the first 6 months matters, probably. So all of the thoughts in your head and all of the things that are making you go, oh, I can't upload until I get a nice microphone. I can't upload until I get a nice camera. Gotta get my channel graphics worked out. I need to get my script just perfect. I need to get it reviewed by these. No, just post. Just make the video. You will gain more from a bad video than you will from never releasing a good video, which is what'll happen if you let yourself get into that mindset. And it's what happens to most people. Once again, thank you for all the help playing games on the fundraiser. It truly helped. I wish I had been there more, dude. I wish I had been able to have more time with that. And I had a lot of fun playing the Jackbox games. I would have loved to have played what's the ghost game with all of the ghosts? Spooky Friends. Phasmophobia. I would have loved to have played Phasmophobia. Pac-Man. That's right. It's Pac-Man. That's normally when people give bad answers that it's annoying. That was an actual funny bad answer. So you get a pass. Yeah, too bad Zlots is scared to play Phasmo in VR. That's true, Delru. That's a good point, actually. Is Grumbletum dead? I hope not. Well, do more than hope. You know what you gotta do. You gotta click that like and subscribe button if you don't want him to die. If you care about Grumbletum's well-being, you know what he eats. You have the power to save him. And I'll say this, if you don't hit the like and subscribe button and anything happens to Grumbletum, you have blood on your hands. Have I ever played Dead by Daylight? Surprisingly, no. And I never will now, because apparently it's like one of those games where the people who play it are so good at it that if you're new to it, like, you have no chance. Eek the Cat just subscribed. How many likes are we away from Grumbletum's evolved form? I don't look at the game FAQs, so I don't know. If you could put Grumbletum or Bobby Duke in Smash Bros, which would you prefer? Grumbletum, because Bobby Duke is the intellectual property of the people that make the Babadook, and I feel like I wouldn't get any money. But I feel like I'd get a lot of money if they put Grumbletum in. So I would prefer that, because I'd get the money. I don't care about putting a character in for the art. And also I think that Bobby Duke would destroy the balance of the game, because he's too good. He's too powerful. He's the star of the channel. If we feed Grumbletum too much, will he consume us all? Grumbletum never overeats. If he, by some miracle, got too many likes, subscriptions, Patreon donations, he would just set them aside for later. Do I have an only slimes? No, I do not. And I'm not going to. Which, to be clear, I have nothing, I see no issue with it. It's not I don't have a moral reason for not doing it. It's simply that if it were up to me, no one would ever see my face or body. I would become permanently invisible, and no one would see me. I feel it defeats the purpose. Who's your favorite skater, TS? I'm my own favorite skater. I can be that for myself. My second favorite is the guy that when I was first learning to skate and falling down, he like walked by and he's like, let me show you what you're doing wrong. And he just like stood and like skated on my skateboard. It's like, that's all you gotta do. I was like, ah, cool. You could have OnlyFans where it's only waist to neck pics, never show your face. But that's the area I least want people to see. If I could turn invisible, what is the first thing I would do? If I could turn invisible, the first thing I would do is turn invisible. Then I'd probably go tell my wife that I can turn invisible. Is Grumbletum a creature of some kind? A channel character? Who is this mysterious being? You must be new! Here, I'll put up a little picture of Grumbletum. Let me check if your guitar is in tune. My ukulele, I don't have a guitar, is not in this room, unfortunately. It's in the bedroom, and I believe my wife is asleep. I'm not going to wake her up just to get my ukulele to see if it's in tune. Which it probably is, by the way. I'll have you know. This is Grumbletum, the folksy woodland critter who eats all my likes, comments, subscriptions, and Patreon donations. Anarchist content behind a paywall. Hey, listen, I'm a huge sellout, but there are some lines I don't cross, and I have never put content behind a paywall. What are some well-regarded films that you hate? Well-regarded by whom? I'm trying to think. I'm so sleepy. It's a movie I even hate. I know that there's definitely an interesting answer to this question that if I could just think of it. The Harry Potter series? But I don't think that's really what this person is talking about. You strike me as someone who dislikes Clockwork Orange, both book and movie. That's fine. I haven't read the book. Although I will say Maggie Mayfish's recent video on Stanley Kubrick made me reconsider whether or not I feel comfortable liking Stanley Kubrick movies. I don't like ginger snaps. I didn't like it when I watched it, but I was like 12 when I watched it, so I think I need to check that out again. Give that one another shot. I mean, Saint Maud, kind of. I didn't like... Yeah, Looper I didn't like, I guess. I don't know. I mean, I don't like any fucking... Zack Snyder's Dawn of the Dead is one that I talk about a lot. I hate that. I fucking hate that movie with a burning passion. Any thoughts on making a disability video similar to what you've done with your anxiety disorder video? Well, I'm not disabled. In my anxiety disorder video, I talked about my personal struggle with anxiety. But I'm not disabled, so I don't really know how I could do a similar thing for that. Alright, maybe I'm disabled in some way that I don't know about. But I don't think I am. I didn't like The Lighthouse? Well, I'm gonna have to give you time out for that. I'm kidding. Where am I? Oh, I got it. That Slime is against family and degrades Fast and the Furious. I've never seen a Fast and the Furious movie. And to be clear, it's because they look so boring. They look very boring to me. And thus I don't want to watch them. Couldn't sit through Mandy? What the fuck? Do I consider his other filmography better? No, I've never liked a movie I've seen by him. To be fair, I stopped watching his movies after Watchmen. Do you know what it takes for me to not watch a Superman movie? Do you know how hard that was for me? What's my favorite anime? Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood is my favorite anime. Is the answer to that question. What movies do I hate? I feel like I'm pretty easy to please when it comes to movies. You might not get that impression from Scaredy Cats, where I try to be a bit more critical. Not to like be hard on movies, but like because I feel to just be like, it was fine. It's kind of a boring thing to say. Color Out of Space I didn't like, for example, famously. I guess now someone mentioned Star Wars in chat. I guess nowadays I would have to specify I don't like the Star Wars prequels. I think they're in fact quite bad. I really love The Holy Mountain, and yet I hate El Topo. Someday I'm gonna clear my schedule. I'm gonna watch both those movies. Not on the same day. That might kill me. Debate H-bomb on the prequels? No. Here's the thing. He can like the movies. I can dislike them. Neither of us is right. People like and dislike different movies. There's no way for me to argue that the prequels are objectively bad, because that's not how things work. Not a fan of Annihilation, the movie? Yeah, I thought it was just okay. The thing is, H-Bomb and I have completely opposite film taste, because he loves Zack Snyder and loves the Star Wars prequels, and I can't stand either. They're like my least favorite movies of all time. Hey Mildred, Killer Makeup, non-sequitur question. What's your favorite tabletop game? I have not played a lot of tabletop games, and so I guess my answer would probably just have to be Dungeons and Dragons. We did play a game once. I think it was called Doom, but not like Doom the video game. It was its own thing. It was like a horror one-shot type of deal. And the setting we played it in was in space, but I don't think it has to be. And that was a lot of fun, but I haven't really played a lot. This is, I think, my main complaint about tabletop as a hobby, is that if you tell someone that you're having fun playing a tabletop RPG, they'll tell you, no, in fact, you're having fun wrong. This is the game you should play, and if you don't play this game, you can't have fun. I'll be like, oh, my mistake. My mistake. I thought I was enjoying myself before you clarified. Original Star Wars are amazing. Episode 7 and 9 are mediocre. I will argue that Star Wars The Last Jedi is the best Star Wars movie. And it's not simply because out of a dislike of how reactionaries treated it. I was blown away by the movie. I thought it was incredible. It's yeah. I think it's and it's not even close. Have I ever watched Steins Gate? I haven't. But 9 sucked? Yeah, because I didn't even watch the last one, because I enjoyed Last Jedi so much, and then everything I read about the Rise of Skywalker was all like, oh, we undid everything that was interesting about the previous movie for a joke. Rogue One? I did not like Rogue One. I'll tell you the moment where Rogue One lost me forever. They're walking around on Tatooine and they see that guy from Mos Eisley Cantina in A New Hope who goes like, my friend doesn't like you. I don't like you. I'm like, oh yeah, throw that in there for the fans. We were clamoring for more of those guys. I let out an audible sigh when that happened in the theater. It's like, I get it. You've seen Star Wars. I've seen Star Wars. I could be at home watching Star Wars. Instead, I'm here watching this. Thank you, Nick Colin. I liked the robot boy. That was about it. I did not find any of the characters memorable. And I can't believe how miscast they made Mads Mikkelsen. Like, Jesus. How do you cast Mads Mikkelsen as like the father figure in this movie? He's so sinister. I'm mad about Mads, don't get me wrong, but like, you can't. He's not right for that role. Rest of Rogue One, despite that, boring. It was a boring movie. It was just bad. Here's a bunch of characters you already know are going to die, and everything they do is not going to have an effect on the rest of the world they live in. And all of them are just kind of the same and kind of just blunt instruments. It felt like a movie made by ideas guys. What if we had a guy who wasn't a Jedi but could dance around using the Force and dodge laser fire? Like, okay, yeah, all right, yeah. Throw that into your Star Wars novels. I don't want to see it in a movie. Who do you pick to marry in Stardew Valley? The answer is Abigail, because Abigail plays Chrono Trigger on the television, and that gets me every time. What do you think about the predator catchers on YouTube? Is it like they're fighting the predator from the movie Predator? Because that sounds awesome. But if it's people doing like their own makeshift to catch a predator, I don't know what they hope to accomplish. Because it seems like what that's going to do is they're going to get a YouTube video that they can make a lot of money off of, and then that person will not face any consequences, because how are you going to enter that into court? Is Abigail the one that eats rocks? Indeed she is. Hopkins got one good Hannibal Lecter script where he had like 15 minutes. Where he got 15 minutes of screen time. Matt's got 3 seasons of mostly good Hannibal Lecter scripts where he was the focus. Oh, he is the best Hannibal Lecter of all time. There can be no debate on this. I couldn't get past the password part of Chrono Trigger because I was emulating it on my phone and it wouldn't recognize enough button presses simultaneously. Isn't it just 2 buttons simultaneously? You know, eating people can put holes in your brain. Only if you eat their brain. You get prions. Is the thriller genre just horror for normies? Sometimes it's just horror that doesn't want the baggage of being called horror. Have I seen the Carnosaur films? No. And mentally I've replaced them with Tammy and the T-Rex. Hey Mildred, have you ever read The 7 Tenets of the Satanic Temple? You know, the non-theistic religion. Love you, fam. Nah. Look, do whatever you want, but I find the Satanic Temple, and I can never remember which is the good one and which is the bad one. But ultimately, like, the whole aesthetic, to me, is off-putting. It's like, Yeah. We decided to like choose the thing that's going to make everybody upset with us, and then we're going to be like, why is everybody mad? Come on, you know why they're mad. You did it on purpose. Do people not like Hasanabi anymore? I thought he was like the unproblematic beefcake of the left. Well, it's the thing is, and I don't know if maybe there's something he did. I don't know, but if someone becomes popular on the left, it means that everyone also simultaneously hates them. What would you recommend someone read if they've read the Communist Manifesto, but nothing else? Nothing else ever? They've never read a stop sign, or... Oh my God, my eyes. They're killing me. What is my favorite dinosaur? The humble Tyrannosaurus Rex. The king, baby. Got a big head, tiny little arms. Why not? We need a womanable lector. That's pretty good. Yeah, that's a good point. How could anyone have only read the Communist Manifesto and still read in chat? That it doesn't make any sense. You could read Lord of the Rings after the Communist Manifesto. They're pretty good. Well, I did not enjoy. I've told this story many times. I've tried to read Lord of the Rings. I did a university course on Lord of the Rings. I always get to the same part. It's after Tolkien spends like 3 pages describing one tree in particular. And then he goes into a bar and he describes every single person there, their name in every language in Middle-earth. And he says, oh yeah, and also, by the way, also Strider's in the back. Strider's also there. And you're like, well, tell us about Strider. And Tolkien's like, no. Then it turns out Strider is one of the main characters of the book. And the only thing you know about him is that his name is Strider. But also, that's not even his name. His name is Aragorn. So every time I'm like, nope, fuck this book. Fuck this book. I don't need this. I don't need this book. And I'll tell you this. I don't trust anyone that when they're reading Tolkien, they read the songs. If you tell me that you read the songs when you're reading Tolkien, I don't believe you. And I don't trust you. I think if you claim that you read the songs in Tolkien books, then you're the type of person that would hide a zombie bite. I mean it. Tell us your favorite bit? Like my favorite joke? I think the funniest joke ever written, and I don't know if this is what you're even asking, but I think the funniest joke anyone's ever written is the episode of The Simpsons where Homer's mom shows up. And she's singing with Lisa, how many roads must a young man walk before you can call him a man? And Homer says, 7. And they're like, no, Dad, it's a rhetorical question. He says, rhetorical, eh? 8. And she says, Dad, do you know what rhetorical means? And he says, do I know what rhetorical means? It's the perfect joke. It's incredible. It's so good. It's just like such a dense onion of a joke. You can really peel back the layers on that one. Every line is funny on its own, but then adds context to every other line. Like, it's so good. My favorite Simpsons Treehouse of Horror was when the dolphins take over. This is from the post-Good Simpsons era. I know, I got to the jockey episode and I was out. Although I will say I was watching an episode that had a really good joke in it, where it was in the future. Like, you know how the Simpsons will occasionally do an episode in the future? And Kearney is a limo driver, and Lisa's giving birth in the back of a limo. And his automatic car won't start. His self-driving car won't start. And he says, "Looks like I'm going to have to do this the old-fashioned way." And he opens his glove compartment and takes out a pair of driving gloves. And he says, "Gloves, drive us to the hospital." And the gloves just start driving. It's like, that's pretty good. You got me. I like the idea that in between people driving and automatic cars, there is a period where people had autonomous gloves that would drive their cars for them. That's the old-fashioned way to do it. My favorite joke is still there. "Hey Wolf, do you want a bite of my sandwich?" "No thanks, I'm stuffed." I think it's a joke you need visuals for. Otherwise it's not clear that they're talking to a taxidermied wolf. Wasn't it Maggie who was giving birth? I don't know. What does it matter? The show's not good anymore. Who cares? Favorite movie? Superman the Motion Picture. 1978. Thoughts on Dune? I'm looking forward to it. I think it'll be fine. I don't know. Maybe it'll be a fun movie about Dune. Wacky sand planet. What a wacky idea. What's my favorite VTuber? Shrek? I don't know. I don't watch VTubers. I find that they tend to do a voice that is irritating. It's Addams Family versus Munsters. They're both great. And I know why you're asking, because of that a Bim Bam bit. And I am answering in character, obviously. Because the correct answer is the fucking Addams Family, obviously. The Munsters, come on. Random observation, your Canadian accent doesn't seem as strong as other Canadian content creators I follow. What kind of stuff determines your accent in Canada? So, Canada is the second largest country on Earth behind Russia. What people think of as the Canadian accent is a Northern Ontario accent. The, "Oh, hey there, bud. What are you talking about?" Like that accent. That's not the Canadian accent. That's the Northern Ontario accent. Where I come from is a very different dialect. We speak like, "Hey, getting on, bud? What do you like it all?" Like, that's what we're like. And I can't do that very well. But That's why. And there are words that bring my accent out of me too. Like the way I say the word car. I'll say car. It's the same way, like if everybody thought that everyone in America had a Southern accent, that's what it would be like when people ask, "How come you don't have a Canadian accent?" It's like such a huge country. The Munsters did have the Dragula. That's true. And they did slam through the ditches and burn through their witches in their Dragula. So I liked that about them. Why did Rob Zombie go so hard in a song about the Munsters car? How come he was like, I gotta fucking bring it. I gotta go hard in the paint for my respect for the Munsters car. What songs did he not go hard on? Yeah, but he chose to make the song about the Munsters car. He could have made it about something more metal than that, like maggots or something. Like, you know how like metal songs are about maggots usually. He's doing a Munsters movie. Is it CG? If it's CG, who gives a shit? If it's live action, maybe we're talking. And is it like Hellbilly? Is it like in his usual style? Have you seen I Think You Should Leave? How dare you even ask me that? How dare you? I was banging the I Think You Should Leave drum before anyone. Can I do a dab? I can, but I'm not going to do it for free. I think the Munsters car toured like the Batmobile. Maybe you saw it as a kid. I saw the Batmobile as a kid. But like the one from the 1989 movie, not the Adam West Batmobile. Okay, but how about Detroiters? I fucking love Detroiters. I think every now and then about the D2 Royd shirt, and it makes me laugh. What does it mean? It doesn't mean it. It's Detroit. D2 Royd. What does the 2 represent? It's Detroit. Am I a Reboot fan? Hell yeah, I'm a Reboot fan. I grew the hell up on Reboot. Who says I didn't? I think Reboot... The thing is, Americans stopped getting Reboot when it got good. Reboot was always good, but it got really good in season 3. But that's when American affiliates dropped it, and it was only airing in Canada. Thoughts, Slime, have you seen the Netflix sketch show I Think You Should Leave? Love what you're doing, keep it up. Oh, everybody's trying to get me mad. Is that the joke? That I'm beat red for my family photo tonight? Permission to go home and watch TV so I'm not beat red for my family photo tonight? Yes, I've seen it, to answer your question. And I love it. It's endlessly funny to me. I'm trying to build up more of an appreciation for season 2. I was initially disappointed, but after rewatching a couple episodes, I've started to realize perhaps my expectations were too high. Because that skit about he's got the baby, and he's like, oh, you can tell I used to be a real piece of shit. You know, slicked back hair, sloppy steaks. Your hair's slicked back now. You think this is slicked back? This is pushed back. I request one dab, please. Also, pineapple on pizza? Pineapple on pizza is fine as long as it is paired with hot peppers. They go well together. I don't really like pineapple on pizza without them. I don't really like them with them, to be honest, but it's a good combination. Have I seen Russian Doll? Yes, but I have not seen the show of the same name. Here's a question people should be asking me. Any of those little fuckers ever blast out of the wall and do a big cum shot? That's an I think you should leave reference, not just an absurdly horrible thing to say. The best skit from season 2, I think, is the CalicoCutPants.com. And the running joke of him yelling at people to hold the door and then walking very slowly to it, it just kept getting funnier for me. Do I give? No, I don't give, because I've never had to use it. In the event that if I use it, obviously I'm going to give. It's stealing not to give if you use. Like, for example, if my wife is in the hospital and my doctor was like, it's probably not this, but is she swallowing batteries? And I was so stressed from my wife being in the hospital that I didn't have time to check and see if I got a little drop of piss on my pants. In that instance, I would give. How do you think goods should be distributed in syndicalism? I mean, I suspect you're looking for a more thorough answer than this, but from each according to their ability to each according to their need. The thing is, it's like, I couldn't dictate to you how it is that everybody, the exact supply chain of every single thing in society. I can tell you that I think largely the way that things would work is people would put in orders, and then the people producing things would go, this is how much demand there is, we'll make this much. And then adjust that, like when they produce it, they see, did we produce too much? Did we produce too little? That's... I'm not talking about the tables. That's not eyeshadow, it's just, Mildred is just tired. It's a bit of both, actually. Thoughts on Joe Biden? Joe Biden sucks shit. He's terrible, he's a bad guy. He's the same as every other fucking Democratic president since Reagan. Just a Republican light, slightly better than the alternative, and that's the best thing you can say about him. We know it's you, Joe. Get out. Listen, Jack. I do like that he calls people Jack. That'll teach him. Love the last video? That's a lie. No one liked the last video. That's how I know you're lying. You're lying to my face. Yeah, I hate that guy I voted for. I didn't vote for him. I don't live in your dipshit country. I have other evil ghouls to vote for. Throwback to the time that I thought the earth was flat and Slimy helped pull me back to reality. How on earth did I help you realize that the earth was round? I make a lot of jokes about the earth being flat. It's a joke I stole from Street Fight Radio. I don't understand how I pulled you back to reality. 14,000 people liked your last video. They were joking. I wish instead we lived in a world where the skeletons were the bones are money and also worms. The bones are their money, the worms are their dollars. In their world, 1 bone equals $1. In underground, there's half as much food as this. They've never seen as much food as this. I was saying that about myself. I was literally not talking about you. This is the thing. People often accuse me of being a Biden shill because people were like, do you think people should vote? And I was like, yeah, probably. And they're like, oh, wow, look at who's endorsing electoralism. Look at his liberal solution. He thinks Joe Biden's going to fix all of his problems. Take it down. Not everything has to be a 1 or a 10. Some things can be a 5. I think I'm old enough to bathe on my own now, but my mom insists on getting in the tub with me every time. It makes me feel uncomfortable. What should I do? Gradually make the water hotter and hotter until she can no longer stand it. Now, if she can withstand a greater temperature than you, do the reverse. That ought to do it. Otherwise, and this is advice that I say across the board, simply don't bathe. Can I ban these bozos? I'm not seeing any bozos. Aside from when I look at the mirror. Hey, don't spam. Come on. No spamming. Blocky MC. I'm not going to tell you my favorite song just for that. Have I seen Classic Horror Story on Netflix? I have not. If this is the land of the free, then why can't I rinse my nuts in the Burger King soda dispenser? You absolutely can. You simply have to accept the consequences. If you are not brave enough to take what you want, then you don't deserve liberty. I'll put you in timeout too. I'll put everyone in timeout. I don't care. I'll put the whole fucking chat in timeout. Watch me. Which soda flavor are we rinsing our balls with, fellas? I would say probably Mountain Dew, right? No, probably like Sprite would be the best. It's got a very clean smell. Actually, we're not going to rinse our balls with any Pepsi products, of course, because Pepsi owns Frito-Lay, who are on strike right now. So whatever the alternative candidate, the off-brand Sprite. Does Pepsi own Sprite or do they own 7-Up? Do any of these fuckers ever come out of the wall and say something crazy like donkey dick or cum shot? Stop trying to be funny. This is the worst day on my job. I work so hard at what I do and you're ruining it. Too sticky? All sodas are sticky. You're not going to get a non-sticky soda. We've accepted that stickiness is a natural consequence of this. If we are to take seriously the premise that one would rinse their balls in soda, we must then accept a certain degree of stickiness. Seltzer is not sticky, it's not soda. You're right. I just found out that Quaker is owned by Pepsi. Yeah, it's a problem. Is ginger ale a suitable candidate? It's a very bad choice, I'll tell you that. You're gonna get some uncomfortable feelings. Physically, maybe emotionally. Pepsi does not own Sprite or 7-Up. I doubt they have to own one of them. There's no way Coke owns both Sprite and 7-Up. Go wash your balls in LaCroix if you don't want stickiness. Yeah, if you're a millionaire. Y'all are washing your balls? It's a good idea to do if you have them. Earlier we all had some fun talking about how you shouldn't bathe, but I do think it's good to wash your balls. Iron brew. Now there's a choice. Because you're not going to do anything else with it. It's too disgusting to drink. Take that, the entire nation of Scotland. You know it's bad. You like it because it makes us upset. Odd you mentioned Iron Brew in Scotland. Isn't Iron Brew a Scottish drink? If someone lacks balls to wash, they should endeavor to obtain some. Like wash someone else's balls? I don't think that's a fair burden to put on them. They have their own things to wash. I think the people of Scotland deserve a better soda than Iron Brew, frankly. They've suffered enough. Whiskey is the superior Scottish beverage. You're lucky you didn't drop an E in there, or you would have been banned. In Scotland they have Iron Brew, in Australia they have Vegemite, and in North America we have literally everything we eat, and it discusses other cultures. Your 200,000 subs video helped me realize I was non-binary. I don't know why that one did, but I'm glad. I've made a lot of videos specifically about being non-binary. I'm surprised that was the one that got you there, but I'm glad you got there. 7-Up is owned by Cadbury Schweppes. There are more soda companies than I anticipated. There's no such thing as non-binary? Yeah, there is though. You're just a dum-dum, is the thing. You're just not very smart. That's your problem. Accidentally banned him twice. Clicked ban, then unban, then ban again. Felt good. Whiskey is made from corn? No, it isn't. What are you talking about? Whiskey is not made from corn. Fuck you, Harley Jarvis. He's got a gun. Dump it. Can it. Either I don't know about whiskey or chat doesn't, but something's going on here. What's next? You gonna put a meatball in my pants? Make a meatball fall in my pants? Make me think one of my testicles fell out? Is that the joke? I live in the States, so have only seen corn-based whiskey. This isn't happening. This is a nightmare. Jack Daniels is made of corn? I gotta think about some stuff. Whiskey is drinkable if you add enough Coke and ice. Yeah, you know, there's some good whiskeys that you can drink without it. I enjoy whiskey. It's my favorite of the alcoholic liquors. Rum is superior, IMO? Well, Sonia, you're young yet. The rum is merely sweeter than whiskey. Okay, and look, I don't want to get ageist about this. It's just that sometimes people who are a bit younger tend to have a preference for alcohol that is sweeter, that mellows with age. Rum is great for fruity drinks. Absolutely. I love a pina colada. Rum is great in a cocktail. What type of person prefers gin? Gin is good. Gin is good. No one likes gin. This is how I can tell Chad is full of young-os. Gin and tonic on a hot day, can't beat that. Why would you drink anything that is not sweet? Well, do you drink water? Water is not sweet. Coffee's not sweet. I've had gin shots, it's okay. Gin, gin is not really for drinking straight, I don't think. A lot of people do not drink water, and that's a really bad habit. You should drink water. It's a good idea to drink water. Water, you mean like from the toilet? No, other water than the toilet water. Don't drink from the toilet. Drink other water than the toilet water. Water kicks ass. Here's the thing is, if you don't drink water, like straight water, and you feel like shit all of the time, try this. Try just getting a big glass of water and drinking it and see if you still feel like shit. And if not, now you know. I'm living my values here. I drink several liters of water a day. Water kicks ass. It's like the main thing I'm made of. If you're drinking water, you're basically drinking me. What could be better? Water from the dehumidifier? It's better than toilet water, for sure. You gotta like add ice to that water. Here's the problem. Here's my problem. Here's the problem with me personally. This is my issue and none of you have to help. It's my cross to bear. I have never successfully kept ice cubes from developing a freezer stink. Every ice cube that I own becomes stinky in an unpalatable way. And I don't know how to fix it. I don't know what causes it. And also, I don't really feel like I need my water to be that cold. To me, I would use ice cubes. Why is my freezer stinky? It isn't. That's the weird part. Baking soda in your freezer? Would that work? clean your freezer? I do. Doesn't fix the problem. It's multiple freezers. And it's not just my freezer either. I go to other people's houses, their ice cubes stink. Baking soda will def help. I have baking soda in my fridge. You know what I think? Is probably I'm like a mutant. I've got a mutant power to smell the ice stink. And all of you are looking at me like, your unhygienic freezer. I keep a clean freezer. It's just that I have a less tolerance for the ice cube stink. Whiskey cubes do nothing. The thing about an ice cube is it actually cools things down by melting. That it's not simply by being near something cold, it's that it releases cold water into it. So whiskey stones are just a waste of time. They do not make your whiskey colder. It is purely psychosomatic. What about ice from a party store? Does that stink? Weirdly, no. No, I don't. If it's a bag of ice, I do not get a... And that's the other thing. If I leave a bag of ice in my freezer, even if the bag is open, it doesn't develop a stink. Sounds like the iron levels in your water are too high? What? Iron's metal. It can't be in water. That doesn't make any sense. I feel less crazy hearing someone else mention the freezer stink. It can't be my water because it's everywhere. It's all ice cubes that are made with ice cube trays. People are throwing some shade on my water. You don't know. Wash your ice cube trays? You think I didn't think of that? You think I have noticed this problem of the freezer stink, and it never occurred to me, perhaps this ice cube tray is dirty. You think I didn't, you think I'm walking through the world, and I'm so, have no knowledge of cause and effect, that it never occurred to me to wash the ice cube tray. Try adding a pinch of salt. A lot of the time when water/ice tastes bad, it's because it's desalinating your saliva. Interesting. Can confirm all ice cube tray ice cubes kind of stink. Thank you, Zorku. Thank you. We have we are post-human. We have the freezer stink gene. We can detect it. And someday you will look to us to know what ice stinks and what doesn't. And you'll regret your cruelty to me today. What about automatic ice machines? In my experience, no stink. Try silicone ice cube trays? Tried them. You all are so smug about this. But what you don't realize is that you're using the stink ice. It's not that your ice doesn't stink. It's that you can't smell it. Then I come here with my superior palate. I smell your ice. I'm like, oh, how can you drink that? You're like, what are you talking about? I clean my freezer. Yeah, all right. Nothing stinks worse than black beans that got shoved into the back of the fridge. What? Like old black beans? Because like fresh black beans don't stink that bad. Distilled water has a stink? Yeah, it's got a kind of like ozone-y type smell. Your chat talking about your ice reminds me why I regret why I have to when I have to call IT support. Yes. So people always think, have you tried washing your freezer? Oh yeah, no, I didn't realize dirty things could smell bad. Thanks for that. Thanks for the help. Old beans smell like farts? Well, yeah, because they're partially digested. Please save up my donations for an R/O purifier. Oh, I would... Catalina, I would love to be at your house smelling your ice right now. You're throwing a lot of stones in my direction. You're so confident in your fresh ice. If I were there, you'd be singing a different tune. Beans can stink if they sit in an open can for too long. Any food left to rot can develop a stink. I add a bit of lime juice to my ice sometimes. That just sounds good. Have you tried purifying the water before freezing? Yes. Yes, I have. Cauliflower smells like farts if it sits for even 30 minutes. The worst is when you have cauliflower like in Tupperware, and then you open that Tupperware and it's just like, oh. Still eat it though, it's delicious. I know you're vegan, so what all is in your freezer? I hope I don't sound rude, I'm trying to help your ice. The contents of my freezer are irrelevant. But I will tell you what's in my freezer. Ice, blueberries, and some Beyond Meat burgers. Shrink wrapped. Good tunes, also honey never rots, ding. Honey does rot, it just doesn't necessarily rot. Put lime juice in your bong, trust me. That actually sounds like a really bad idea. If it was safe and money wasn't a problem, where would you and your wife travel? If there was a way to do it ethically, I would go to Hawaii, but right now, obviously, I wouldn't because Hawaiians are a colonized people and the tourism industry directly feeds into that. Japan, I would like to see. The moon. I want to try doing seltzer in a bong. It just seems like a good way to ruin your seltzer. And potentially your weed. What if you filled your bong with orange juice and instead of weed, you put toothpaste in there? Makes you think, doesn't it? Lime juice in the bong is rad, can you confirm? I'll be honest with you, I have not used a bong in perhaps 15 years. What do you use? Typically, I don't know if I have it on me, a little vape stick with little rechargeable pods. And I also have like a vape that you can put dry herb in. Beyond that, I have a one-hitter that sometimes I'll use if I'm outside. Orange juice and toothpaste in bong is cursed. Have you tried it? I have a pipe shaped like an Ivysaur. Why would the Pokemon Company be okay with that? I mean, I have a friend who did like a real dab, not a pen tonight, so my friend is feeling it hard. Again, if it's too much, I refer you to the film Gremlins. The one time I got way too high and I watched the film Gremlins and I felt a lot better. So maybe that'll work for you too. Gremlins is a good vibe. I have several Pickle Rick pipes. Are you okay? Is everything all right? What happened when you had one Pickle Rick pipe and you were like, oh, you know what will go great with this? A second and third Pickle Rick pipe. Do you consume honey as a vegan? I don't really like honey, so it's not an issue for me. Gremlins scared the shit out of me as a kid. I was forced to watch it on a bus trip to the city. I don't think it would scare you as an adult. I think it's time to watch Gremlins again. Please someone explain to me what the flag with 3 arrows means. It's an anti-fascist symbol. It's the symbol of the Iron Front, which was a group that fought the Nazis in Germany. The 3 arrows are meant to represent the Crown, the fascists, and the Bolsheviks. Or more broadly, the authoritarian left. Define veganism. Doing the least amount of harm to animals. Is stealing doing harm? See, like, this is... Is this the place? Do you feel that you need to have that discussion? Do you think that what's going to result from this discussion is someone is going to read it and go like, oh, well, guess I won't eat honey, because they're not going to... The next time they're going to eat a big bowl of honey, as people do, they're not going to remember this conversation. Just joined. Are you still going by Mildred? Yeah, if you want. Call me whatever. It's like, I'll tell you, I saw this post on Twitter, and I know I shouldn't be on Twitter, but it was like this person was saying like, oh, we shouldn't let pedophiles get off scot-free, like something should be done about pedophiles. And someone was like, wow, I guess you agree with the American carceral state if you think that we should just throw everyone in jail that you think is a problem. And it's like, do you think that's what they're saying? Like, do you think expressing distaste for pedophiles, the worst guys, do you think what that person is saying is like going whole hog in on the American carceral system? And it makes me think of the way that people will weaponize this kind of faux outrage to like shut down an argument in a way that like is just so irritating. Because they will just work themselves up into a tizzy about a different thing than what you're talking about, and you can't even talk to them at that point. You can't even be like, no, that's not. We're not talking about that. You weirdo. What do we do with bad people? What do you mean? What does that mean? What do we do with bad people? It's such a vague question. What do you mean by bad people? There's such a wide variety. That could mean people that double park. That could mean serial killers. Obviously, they would require different methods of dealing with the problem. Shout out to my favorite anarchist. Who? Hey Millie, on a scale from 1 to 10, yes or no? 7. Are the bad people in the room with you right now? It's like, it's one of the favorite mind games of people that have never fucking thought about what they believe. It's like because you have an idea that is counter to like their ideas that they've never examined whatsoever, right? Is they will go, well, what do we do about incredibly vague problem? Like they'll say, oh yeah, well, how do we feed people? Like, there's no way to answer that in a sentence, because that can mean so many things. Like, are you saying, how do we farm? How do we get the food to people? How do we allocate food? What do you mean by that? How do we transport food from areas where it's difficult to produce to, what do you mean? So until like you ask a question that like can be answered in a sentence, you can't be irritated when someone's like, I can't answer that in one sentence. But that's what they do is they'll go like, well, what do we do about criminals? And it's like, that's a huge question that I can't just be like, we dig a big hole and we put them in there and we take the ladder out. Like you can't answer it in a question. There's a lot that goes into that. Like, people are talking about Anders Breivik. Okay, like if someone is demonstrably going to kill people, if you let them just go do whatever they want, you don't. There has to be a limitation on that reasonably. That doesn't mean that you lock them in a cell and put them in the place where we make life miserable for people, you know? I like it's you can still call it a prison if you like, but like there's got to be something we can do with people who are demonstrably dangerous to other people. They have to be I don't specifically have a problem with the idea of containing serial killers. I think that the way that is done should be rethought, because it should be thought of as more of a hospital. It should be something that is thought of as a treatment, something where it isn't just you're put in the bad people place. Because there's two possibilities. Either they are responsible for their behavior, in which case they should be helped to change their behavior, or they are not responsible for their behavior, in which case you can't be mad at them. Like, what's your opinion on how Ontario is handling the pandemic? Assuming you live in Ontario, I'm from PEI, visiting family in the GTA, just curious. I would say it's pretty rich to say that Ontario is handling the pandemic. We're experiencing the pandemic. I wouldn't say that we're handling it. And that should tell you what I think. It's basically we're opening up again. We're going to have movie theaters are going to be open, bars are going to be open. And we're just never going to learn, and we're all going to die. Serial killers are a small portion of the prison population, so it's not a huge insurmountable problem. Yeah, well, like, people, I think, vastly overestimate the amount of people in prison who are there for violent crime or antisocial crime of any kind. Most people are there for drug charges or, you know, petty theft. Like, when we talk about prison abolition, there has to be something which fulfills the function of, like, keeping people safe from people that are dangerous, but we have to rethink what it does and what it's for. It isn't to punish people, and it isn't something that we can use to segregate out undesirable populations. It isn't something that we use to create a parallel underground society of non-people. A lot of people plead guilty just to get out of a protracted justice system and then end up in prison. The overwhelming majority of people who are in prison today did not receive a trial. They did not plead guilty. They took a plea bargain because they were told, or they were advised by counsel, that if they went to trial, they would get a longer sentence. So basically what that allows the system to do is threaten people into waiving their right to a free trial. By hanging over them the possibility that if they go to trial, their sentence will be made longer. Listen, you can either go to jail now for 2 years, or we can bring it to trial. You'll have to pay for that, and who knows what'll happen, and you'll probably lose, and you'll be in jail for 10 years. What would you do? The thing I think that is missing from this discussion is that people think that there's, like, we've been conditioned to think of criminals as dangerous people, and the overwhelming majority of people that are dangerous are made so because prisons are dangerous. Because prisons teach people to be dangerous. They're crime universities. This is the thing that Marx and Kropotkin wrote about. Like, in a world where we didn't have prisons like that, the majority of people that pass through any sort of rehabilitation institution or whatever we would have would not emerge as dangerous people. They would emerge as people that received the care they needed, the intervention they needed to prevent whatever it was that caused their antisocial behavior in the first place. But you wouldn't have anyone committing crimes because of needing money or needing food or needing drugs. Quarantine centers are different than prisons. Support the first, oppose the latter. And off topic, haha, what do you think of agorism? Isn't that like an ANCAP thing? Most criminals don't need rehab. They need society that when working does not leave them starving. I'm not talking about criminals today. I'm not talking about in our current system. Because the majority of people we call criminals are not. The majority of people we call criminals are people who have been criminalized. They have either not literally done nothing, or they have been driven to crime by the way they've been treated by capitalism and the system. What I'm talking about is in a world where the purpose of these things was to legitimately prevent violence and prevent antisocial behavior. In that system, we wouldn't be putting people that like stole to survive in those systems, because if people are stealing to survive, then the question is, why aren't we helping them survive in that system? So in that system, the people that would be going to these institutions are people that have done something dangerous or antisocial, something that legitimately we can't have them going around doing, something that infringes upon the rights and freedoms of other people, like murder or assault or something like that. Having been put in prison kind of affects the rest of your life prospects and makes it more likely you'll end up on the wrong side of the law again. Maybe just because you're marked for police attention. John the Duncan had a great video about this. On their video about the case for police abolition, they talked about how criminalization essentially functions to take people out of the legitimate economy, to unperson people. If someone has to be punished for a crime that isn't especially violent or dangerous to others, at least make it productive to the individual and society. I don't believe that punishment makes any sense. I think the idea of punishing people, I think, starts from the misguided position that it works as a corrective to behavior we would like to disincentivize. I don't believe that's true. And I believe that the evidence bears that out. I think that what should be done is to look at the root cause of people's maladaptive behavior. If someone is lashing out and getting aggressive, that could be a sign of an untreated mental illness. That could be a sign of trauma related to abuse. That could be a lot of factors that go beyond simply they're a jerk and we should smack them with a ruler. You know? Like to me, when people get upset about like prisoners having library books or video games, it's like, well, what do you think they should do all day? Just sit around and be sad? What good does that do? Surely if your issue with them is that they're somehow maladapted, surely getting the chance to better themselves through literature should be something you would want. But I think that the people who justify punitive justice as a corrective, I don't think they believe it. I think that they want to believe it because they like the idea of punishing people. And I get why, because it would feel good. If someone did something bad, it feels good to get revenge. And it makes you feel like the problem is solved. Like you got yours in the end. But I don't think that helps. What about parents who justify punitive justice? I mean, I don't like to. If by punitive justice you mean corporal punishment, I think it's child abuse. Full stop. But if you mean by punishment, like you get time out, look, I'm not going to tell people how to raise their kids. Might not be how I would do things, but I don't have the right to tell people how to raise their kids. And I also sometimes parents just get frustrated and they don't know what else to do. They just feel like they have no other option. Does that make it okay? No, but if you're trying to keep your kid from putting their hand on the stove and they keep doing it, like eventually if the only thing that works to make them stop is to do something that might not, is to say like, okay, well, no iPad for you tonight. And then I can see why they would do that. And I think it's not my place to judge. No violence though. No, absolutely not. I believe that corporal punishment for children is child abuse. Full stop. There's no excuse. And anyone who says that, my parents spanked me or whatever and I turned out fine. No, you didn't, because you're justifying child abuse. You didn't turn out fine. You grew up with an internalized trauma that leads you to believe that child abuse is permissible. I meant like parents screaming at their kids, shaming them, that kind of stuff. I mean, obviously that's bad behavior. I think that all parents will occasionally lose patience with their kids sometimes, right? But and it's a good opportunity to teach your children that you're not perfect and to apologize to them. But do I think it's okay to scream at children? No. No, I don't. That sucks. That's a sucky thing to do. I think at the same time that we have to acknowledge that it's hard to be a parent. It's hard. And I think if we expect people to always behave perfectly, I think it's unrealistic. I think everybody's going to have moments where they unintentionally fuck up their kids. You're gonna do something that is going to cause trauma to your children. I don't think that makes it okay. I don't think that means that you should do it intentionally. I don't think that means that everything's on the table. But I think that the idea that, like, you know, we can, when you're seeing someone with their kids, that you know what their life is like behind the curtains. Like, it could be the worst day of their life and they're losing patience. And then later they apologize to their kid because parents are human, right? Like, I think to a certain degree, kids need to know that their parents can make mistakes. And they need to see that it's okay to make mistakes and apologize and do better. But I guess what I'm getting at is I want to avoid the toxic impulse of judgments, of thinking that I know so much better than others, or standing like, you know, in my, you know, holier than thou, like, oh, if I was a parent I would do so much better, because I don't fucking know that I would. It's easy for me to say without kids that like, oh yeah, when I have kids I'm gonna be the perfect parent. I'm never gonna raise my voice. I'm gonna be perfectly patient, and I will always respect every desire they have and treat them exactly as I would want to be treated. And like, nah, that's not gonna happen. Because eventually there's gonna come a point when you're like, your kid just won't eat their cereal, and you're just like, you gotta eat it or you're gonna die. You have to eat food. And it's gonna challenge you. Would I do better than Trudeau if I was the prime minister? Yeah, I would quit. When I have kids, they will simply never misbehave. Exactly. Like, kids don't know anything. Kids, you don't understand how irrational children are. It's like they have their own worldview, and they don't know anything else because they haven't learned it yet. They don't know. It's not their fault. It's not a flaw. It's just they only know certain things. They only know like what's immediately in front of them. So like if you're like, no, you can't watch cartoons, they'll cry. Because to them, that's the most important thing, is getting to watch the cartoon. It boggles my mind that people think a true socialist society would mean that murder wouldn't exist anymore. Who thinks that? That tweet you responded to recently about socialism was a blatant attention grab and kind of funny. Agree to disagree. It was definitely an attention grab, but it was like the lamest, the most like limp, just unhumor, like just a complete, like, come on, try a little harder than that. Kid in this house right now has never had to bake beans. He's 13. Oh, is it because you haven't taught them to open the bean can? Because you got to be careful how you do that. I've learned. I see it online with teenagers now too. People don't allow teens to make mistakes and grow and move on from it the same way I got to do as a teenager. As far as I'm concerned, nothing you do before the age of 25 counts. That's all just whoopsies. Like, if you ask me right now, in my heart, where I think the age of consent should be, I would say 25. I kind of believe that. If I had a friend who was my age and they were dating a 23-year-old, I would be like, "Oh, you shouldn't. You can't be around me. You're not a trustworthy person. What? Why are you doing this?" Me, who's 24, sweats nervously. Oh, you too will come to see it this way. Trust me. Right now, see, here's the thing. Right now, you think, oh, this is as adult as I'm gonna get. I am fully there. 5 years from now, you're gonna be like, oh no, I wasn't at all. I was a child. I was a little baby. I think Thought Slime ought to be a voice for us disabled people. Anyone else here who has a disability or more? Surely a disabled person would be a better voice. I'm 34, and when I see a 23-year-old, I think, what an absolute baby. I would endeavor never to see a 23-year-old. If I was in a situation where there was a 23-year-old, I would be like, are you okay? Do you need cab fare? What's happening? Where's your family? Do you have someone you trust? Do you have somewhere to stay? If I saw a 23-year-old right now, I would be so worried for them. If the 23-year-olds shouldn't be around me. If they're around me, they need help or something has gone wrong. You never really get to full adult. I mean, we're all consistently learning, or rather, we should all be. I mean, everybody grows, but you're an adult at 25. I'm 21 and I'm always weirded out on apps when 27-year-olds match with me. As you should be. That is an extremely weird thing for them to do. Do you know what's something that blows my fucking mind? That is something that is so normalized that I can't believe it's a thing we all just are okay with. The concept of barely legal pornography. Just, what the fuck? That's so creepy. It's like, yeah, if this happened a little while ago, this would be the worst crime that there is. The worst crime that you could commit. You'd be doing it right now if this video had been filmed a month ago. Oh, cool. Tight. Why are people okay with that? I'm an older people, and yes, you are correct. We are highly sus. Old people are not suspect in and of themselves. There's plenty of legitimate reasons why an old person might be around a young person. Perhaps they're delivering first aid. Perhaps they're a teacher or a professor, a volleyball coach, something to that effect. But, you know, what does anyone who's under 25 want to hang out with me for? What are they gonna learn? You know? Oh, cool. What are you doing later? Oh, I'm doing a bunch of paperwork because that's all my life is anymore. Why do you have so much paperwork? I got a lot going on. I have adult affairs to keep track of. And I don't mean like marital affairs. I mean like I have, those typically don't have a lot of paperwork. I'm doing a lot of, I got my finger in a lot of pies. Odds of a Godzilla 54 discussion on Scaredy Cats someday. It's my favorite movie. Pretty high, I would say. When you are 25, you see the only legitimate use of paper as rolling joints. And then you get a bit older, and you realize that's not a healthy way to smoke weed. You should vape it. Do I have a job outside of YouTube? No. But I will say that YouTube requires a surprising amount of paperwork. You'd be surprised. What would you say to a 20-year-old who'd been flirted to by a 30-year-old and might be too insecure to say no? If I was in the room, I would say, do you want me to get this guy out of here? Do you want me to... Is this guy bothering you? That's what I would say. Joints are a waste of weed that just smolder away when you're not toking. Joints are for smoking with other people. Joints are for smoking from when you get a couple free ones from ordering online. You're really ordering a lot of weed, huh? Half your age plus 7 is a decent guideline. Really? What if you're 15? I guess it still works, actually. Never mind. What if you're 3? Are you saying 3-year-olds can date 10-year-olds? I don't think so. Or 3-year-olds can date 8.5-year-olds? Math is not my strong suit. $60 and $37 is fine. Anything above 25 is fine. Have I ever watched YouTube content pushed at early teens? Like Logan Paul? That kind of thing? I'm 19. So I can date a 16-year-old? That doesn't feel right to me. I don't feel like a 19-year-old should date a 16-year-old. I feel like at that particular age group, things are moving so fast that you're essentially like each year is a whole new world of experience. Like if you're in college, I don't care if it's your first year of college, like high school is no longer a dating pool for you. That's my thinking anyway. Clearly anything under 99 is children? No. 25 is when you become an adult. I'm 25 and I don't feel like an adult? Yeah, you might not feel like an adult, but you are. Don't men's brains stop fully developing at 27? I think I don't accept the premise that men's brains develop. I think that you're starting from a misguided perception. You will never feel fully grown, never. It's all relative. I'm not saying you'll feel fully grown. You may never feel like an adult, but you'll be one at 25. I'm not talking about feelings. I'm talking about when people start reliably washing their bed sheets. Can you talk a little bit about the experience that you've had on psychedelics? Nice try. Obviously, I've never done a psychedelic. They're illegal. I would never break a law. But in a parallel dimension where I would have, I've had a variety of experiences in that parallel dimension where I've done that. And I am thus, this is all a work of satire. And thus I am not prosecutable. You're supposed to watch those? Yes, do it right now. There's a lot. I've had many experiences. Some bad, some good, mostly good. And even the bad ones were bad in the moment, but ultimately helped. What if I turn 25 and I don't reliably wash my bed sheets, though? You've probably got depression. Can you improvise a short story about a person doing psychedelics? The last time that Steve did psychedelics, wink, they ended up going to a bad place and... Actually, this wasn't the last time, but the last time actually ruled, which is where Steve thought up Thought Slime 3.0. But the time before that, he had a real bad time, and he was under his bed sheets trying to hide. Have I ever smelled Iceland psychedelics? Why would I deliberately expose myself to something disgusting? And I realized that I was in hell, like literally in hell. And I had this experience of, oh, I cannot be hurt. Because I'm in hell and the demons in hell are doing everything they can to hurt me. And I'm fine. And I would slip in and out of this profound feeling of despair to this triumphant, it didn't work, like I'm still here, motherfucker, to like to you know, back and forth forever. And then I was like, okay, obviously what I need to do is I need to think of something that's going to make me happy. What would make me happy? And that's when my old friend Spider-Man showed up. I started thinking about Spider-Man. My mood turned around. Spider-Man's always there for me. I was like, Spider-Man is good. Yeah. I met the snake from the Garden of Eden, and it was like, hey, I'm gonna get you out of here. And I was like, thank you, talking snake. And then God was there, and God was like, and it's, when I tell this story, you have to understand that it takes place in like a heightened half imagination, where I know that this isn't happening, but I also kind of feel like it is. It's hard to explain. It, like, if you had walked into the room and asked me what's happening, I would have been like, nothing, I'm on drugs. You know, I was still lucid, but it's like your imagination is realer than it typically is, if that makes sense. So, God shows up, he's like, don't listen to that snake. And I said, God, you're being so rude to my friend the talking snake. You're being so rude. And you need to, you can't talk to him like that. And God's like, buddy, I'm God. I can do whatever I want. And I'm like, that doesn't make it okay. And I said, snake, as you were saying. And the snake was like, all right, let's get out of hell. And I was like, yes, let's actually. Your story sounds way of a hell of a lot more interesting. Yeah, I mean, it's I mean, like, I'm leaving out the parts where I was like apoplectic and just like, you know, felt like I realized that there was no goodness within me. You know. So my autistic daydreams as a child. It's kind of like a child's daydreams, but it's realer. It's like the distinction between something being real and something being imaginary no longer matters. The idea that it would just no longer computes to you. Like, it's things being real and things being not real are of equivalent weight in your head, if that makes sense. Which it doesn't, because it's drugs. Was my Spider-Man married to Mary Jane? My Spider-Man was the 60s Steve Ditko style Spider-Man, so unfortunately he was not yet married to Mary Jane, but of course he would go on to be. And if Mephisto tried to take that marriage, I was in hell. I would take it back from Mephisto. I would say, you stop it, Mephisto. It's a bad storyline. Bad idea. I thought every living thing came from the same force of life when I did shroomies. I had that thought one time on acid when I realized there's a common ancestor. There has to be like one common ancestor of all life. So really, we're all that ancestor, just continuing that process forever. And I expressed this to some people on a forum in the parallel dimension where this all happened, and they were like, "No." I felt so bad. They're like, "That's not how that works." Oh no, was it Libertarian Spider-Man? No, it was a cool Spider-Man who helped me with my bad trip. Spider-Man was only in high school for 3 years of his run. Why do they always go back to that? Because high school is a good storytelling background is why. And they want to get that key demo of teens because they have the most disposable income. What's better in your opinion, Renaissance or Baroque painting? I say if it ain't Baroque, don't fix it. To answer your question, I don't know enough about them to answer meaningfully. Am I a fan of Metroid? Yes, I am. I am a huge Metroid fan. You can tell because I have a Super Metroid t-shirt that I wear in about a third of my videos. Every time I've ever taken acid or mushrooms, I just felt uncomfortable for 12 hours. No hallucinations, no revelations. I mean, it's different for everybody, right? I've never had a hallucination per se. I've had visual distortions, but I've never like thought something was there that wasn't. Why do psychedelics when doing edibles while having a depressive / paranoid episode is mildly more legal and slightly less expensive? It's definitely more legal here. And I can tell you, if you eat enough edibles, you are having a psychedelic experience. I don't care who tells you otherwise. At high enough doses, cannabis is a psychedelic drug. Hi, Thoughtslime, can you say what dose of shrooms you had? I don't know how I can make this more clear. I've never taken an illegal drug. It's what a foolish decision that would be. I would never do that. Silly question. Very silly question. At a high enough doses, Benadryl is a dissociative. I'll tell you, I have accidentally robo-tripped a few times. I am like super sensitive to whatever it is in NyQuil / Dayquil that causes you to robo-trip. I forget the name of the compound, but I'm like absurdly sensitive to it. Like even like one Dayquil will send me into the shadow realm. And I experienced this long before I knew it had any psychoactive properties whatsoever. It's called robo-tripping, I believe, because people chug a whole thing of Robitussin. Which you shouldn't do. It will make you very sick. I remember I had Dayquil once for an exam, and then I walked home from university, and I remember feeling like, time is slow today. Why is time so slow? Thoughts on Kratom? I've never tried it. I don't even know if it's legal in Canada. I find it scares me a little. I don't like the idea of an opiate. I feel like that could go bad for me. Drugs are fun. They can be, for sure. You can have responsible fun with drugs. Robo-tripping sounds cooler and more cyberpunk than it actually is. Yeah, it's pretty much the least cool thing you can do. It's like you're drinking cough syrup because you were too scared to go get real drugs. Have you tried Delta 8? Not sure if it's legal there because it's illegal everywhere weed is legal. Is it like a fake weed? Why would I use a fake weed? Is it like a spice? How do you feel about ketamine infusion therapy? I had a pretty positive experience with it. Well, I think when people consent to it, it can be a useful tool. I'm not a psychologist. I can't comment on its efficacy, but one thing I can say that I'm strongly against is police who inject people with ketamine against their will based on their judgment that that person is having some sort of episode. I think that is pretty bad, actually. Depression has tricked me into thinking I'm a literal monster person. TLDR, I had some edibles, watched season 2 of Beastars, and felt super seen. Depression popped for now. If it ever happens again, I would advise you to watch the film Gremlins. I don't know why so many people who are too high are in chat tonight. I've put on the bat signal, and everyone who's had too much weed is in chat here tonight. And I'm here to tell you, watch Gremlins. You'll feel better. Watch some Gremlins. Eat some non-Frito-Lay's chips. They can't be Frito-Lay's chips. They're on strike, so if you eat those, you'll feel worse. But if you get just like a nice, I don't know, or Kettle, is Kettle a different company? If Kettle's a different company, get some Kettle chips. Those are nice. I know Kettle is the type of chip. There's also a company called Kettle. Don't start with me. Utz salt and vinegar chips? Is Utz a real chip brand? I thought that was like a fake one they used for TV shows. PBR is Union. I'm not sure it's necessarily a great idea to advise people to drink if they're too high. Utz is real? I don't know if they have those in Canada. I don't have any weed. My supply dried up. You should live in Ontario. Every store now is a cannabis store. Every single one. All of the Starbucks have closed down, and in their place, it's all cannabis stores. I don't even get booze anymore because I'm waiting to get my name changed on my license. I just don't get carded. Here's what you do: you buy unpopped popcorn kernels. Take a little pot, put a little bit of oil in there, put 3 kernels in, turn on the heat, wait for those to pop, then pour some more in. You get yourself some popped up kernels. Make sure to put the lid on so they don't go everywhere. Enjoy. Salt them. Do whatever you want. You want to get fancy? Grind up some nutritional yeast. Put that on there. You get a little cheesy flavor. Why not? Treat yourself. And it's an activity. Thanks for all the chillest streams. Also, what's your opinion on 100% platinum grade silicone novelty statues? What are you talking about? That feels like an I think you should leave joke. But I don't recognize it. I'm sorry, I don't get it. But I'm for them. They sound great. Do they have Old Bay in Canada? Of course they do. You think people in Canada don't eat crab? We eat crab. We have Old Bay. I've heard Brian David Gilbert's Old Bay jingle. But do they have New Bay? They have The Bay. I heard everyone in chat is high and can related. Story checks out. Been a long time fan, first time donating. Thank you for providing a nice distraction from the hell we live in. Cheers. Well, as I said, I went to hell and I met the snake in a parallel universe. To all the stoners in chat, KD plus Alfredo sauce. You don't play pranks on the high people in chat. Unless, I guess if you buy the craft dinner that comes with Alfredo sauce. Listen, if you're hot, if you listen to me, high people, listen. If you're choosy about what craft dinner you want, you're not high enough. Don't worry. If you're claiming that you're too high and you're like, oh, I don't know what kind of craft dinner I want, you're not too high. You're probably fine. Food and water are just drugs that make you sober? Well, here's a question for you. And you probably know the answer less than you think you do. What's the difference between a food and a drug? Or you're not a KD connoisseur like me. That's true. I can't eat it. I've been getting drunk by myself every night for a while now, and I'm getting sick of doing that. Here's the money I would have spent on a six-pack. Thanks for the distraction. I'm glad that you decided to take a little break, and I hope that you remain strong. Because I know that in times like these, things like that can feel like just a thing to do. Just turn off the bad thoughts for a minute. But it's long-term gonna create more problems than it solves. So stay strong. Am I high? No, my eyes are like this because the BC wildfires have made the entire city of Ontario's air supply into smoke. Not smoke that you can get high with, but regular bad smoke that hurts you and your eyes specifically. Food isn't illegal. Some of it is. No, I don't play Warhammer 40k. I don't have the attention span. Trust me, it's not good to get hooked on. I mean, I know that alcohol is not good to get hooked on. I have family members that are alcoholics for sure. Like it's a nightmare. It's one of the most addictive drugs. Like people don't talk about it enough, I think. Free Dorito Locos Tacos today at Taco Bell? No, we don't eat Yum Brands foods. Frito-Lays are on strike. Have you seen Space Jam 2, and relatedly, how are you dealing with the death of culture? I have not seen Space Jam 2. I've been enjoying my life. I've been doing things that will edify me and make me happy instead. You can survive without drugs, you can't survive without food. Not everyone can survive without drugs. If a diabetic person requires insulin to live, is that insulin therefore food? Why are people surprised Space Jam 2 is bad? It's not that people are surprised that it's bad. It's bad in a new way that is taking people by surprise. It's bad in a way that is specifically heralds dark tidings for cinema. Why is there a Space Jam 2? I thought the last one had closure and all. Because there was more money to be made. And they had to recoup their losses from programming Cybercheetle. A drug is a substance that induces some psychological effect. A food is a substance that specifically provides the physiological effect relating to nutrition. Food is like a subsect of drug. Okay, so is sugar a food or a drug? Hi, Mildred. It's 6 a.m. here in Finland. I hope you have the best day ever. My day is over. I'll try and have the best day ever tomorrow. Food is metabolized into calories, drugs are not. Might want to check the math on that one. I'm pretty sure that if I eat a magic mushroom, it will be converted to calories. Alcohol converts into calories. Food is digested through the GI system. Drugs act directly on receptors, often by entering the bloodstream. But when you use words like usually, you're implying exceptions. Is butt legs? Butt is not legs. See, that's the thing, it's all just words. Yeah, I know. What the point I'm making with this is that the categories of food and drug are socially constructed. And I know that I look, man. I know that when you say that, like, fucking, someone's gonna take you out of context and go, the leftists are saying that food is a social construct. Well, this hamburger isn't socially constructed. It's real. But what constitutes what is and what is not food is socially constructed. What differentiates a food and a drug is socially constructed. Where does the butt start? Above the leg. I don't know where leg becomes butt. But I know that I know it when I see it. Where does the butt stop? Where the leg begins. Hamburgers, however constructed. Yeah, yes, obviously you build a hamburger, but the reason I chose hamburger for that impression is because in the mind of American conservatives, hamburgers are the default food. If they think of food, they're thinking specifically of a hamburger. Did I see Philosophy Tube's video on social constructs? I did. Is lasagna a sandwich? Lasagna is noodle origami. If you weren't sure of the butt leg border, you weren't dealing with enough butt. I don't believe in borders. I think borders imply the violence of their maintenance. The default food for me is unflavored oatmeal. Yeah, I think if you, like, in Unreal Engine, if you were just to type in food, the thing that would pop up is unflavored oatmeal, and then you would have to add things to it to make it other things. Like add the tag fruit, and it becomes the default fruit, which is, of course, a red apple. Or if you say become dessert, it would become the default dessert, which is, of course, a chocolate cake. What's the default food for Canadian conservatives then? Blood. It's blood. Orange should be the default fruit. It's better. It's not about better or worse. There are better foods than unflavored oatmeal. Surely. We're not talking about what the best foods are. It would be sloppy steaks, which is when you get a steak in a glass of water and you pour the water all over the steak. And the waiters don't want you to do it, but they can't stop you from ordering a steak in a glass of water. Now, poutine? Poutine is Quebecois, so Canadian conservatives won't like it. Oil if they're Albertan? They don't drink oil, they have sex with it. Thanks to everyone for being here and being cute. Thank you, Amy S. This is you don't realize the rift you've caused in my marriage. My wife and I constantly fight back and forth about which of us is the cute one. I can't let her know that you've said this. I assume this was a sticker, but I just got the label "Face Screaming in Fear." The baby can tell that your dad's a piece of shit. He used to be. Used to be. He's not anymore. I'm worried that the baby thinks people can't change. Can demons drive? Are there roads in hell? I mean, there are definitely traffic jams. Sorry to hear about your marital troubles. Hope you figure out which one is the cute one soon. It's her. I got it. Done. Apples make you fart? I'm here to tell you, I'm vegan. I cannot I cannot be not farting. I am constantly letting out a low-grade fart at all times. I'm hovering a half-inch above my chair. Have you heard that Peter Jackson is making a documentary about the final years of the Beatles' career? It'll be coming to Disney Plus this Thanksgiving. I hadn't heard that, but I'm not particularly interested. I mean, I like Peter Jackson's movies, I guess. I haven't seen the Lord of the Rings movies. Live with it. I'm not a big Beatles fan. But I like it when they get all weird and druggy. Have I seen The Town? Yeah, it sucked. What a bad movie. You pronounced it in the Canadian French way. It was correct. I just find it more fun to say it that way. Poutine. Also, I think one time a French guy yelled at me when I called it, as is the custom in where I live in Canada, people would typically call it poutine. Have I seen Peter Jackson's old movies? I've seen a bunch of them. I don't think I've seen all of them, but I've seen like Brain Dead, which is the one you wanted to ask about, admit it. Silence brand? I don't care if the brands come in here and give me super chats. Especially only for me to then turn around and go, oh, that sounds boring. No, I wanted to ask about Meet the Feebles. No, if I had said I'd seen Meet the Feebles, you'd be saying that you wanted to talk about Brain Dead. I don't believe you. This is a quantum event. This is a double slit experiment. Somewhere we've created a multiverse where you're in the other universe. You're asking me about Brain Dead right now. Meet the Feebles has the puppets. This implies that there are no puppets in Brain Dead. And there are. And let me tell you, they're wet. I'm thinking they're wet. That's John Wick. when asked if the puppets in Brain Dead are wet. Yeah, I'm thinking they're wet. Is the eyeball zone part of the multiverse? I don't know what the eyeball zone is. I don't know what that means. Fine, I wanted to ask about bad taste then. See, I knew it. I knew it. You're two-faced. You can't be trusted. You just want to ask me about whatever Peter Jackson movies I haven't seen. What are my thoughts on Child's Play? The concept or the movie? I'm in favor of both. What is the deal with this channel and the phrase wet puppets? I like it when a puppet is made to look wet. I find that it's pleasing visually. Like they gloop and glop up the puppets. I think it looks good. I like the way the puppets look. What if they dunked Warmbo in slime? It would be an improvement if it also prevented Warmbo from speaking. Everybody loves Warmbo and everybody hates his voice. It was very edifying for me. I keep using the word edifying today. I gotta cut that out. It's a highfalutin word. I'm being highfalutin. That Katie Stoll also hates Warmbo. Makes me feel a lot less bad about how much I cannot stand Warmbo. Here's $5 because I want to talk about the gate and how wild its effects are, because those little minion dudes are great. It's a Canadian horror classic, The Gate. What does edifying even mean? It means like good for you spiritually. Gate's great. The gate's great, mate. You should see the Curse 2, The Bite. It has a guy's hand turning into a snake. It's good. Is it a guy's hand on remaining on? Or is it someone cuts off his hand and then it turns into a snake? It's an incredibly important distinction to me. Hello, We're in Hell. People were referencing you earlier when we discussed the time I went to hell. Everybody go subscribe to We're in Hell and also follow the Twitch streams he does with the Goblin Boy, Mr. Goblin. Why cannot I remember the channel name? I'm very tired. It's the Goat and Goblin Show. I can't believe I'm spacing on his channel's name. Don't tell him I forgot his channel's name. Chill Goblin, thank you. It's Chill Goblin. I've been watching their streams a lot lately, having a great time. One of the most reliably funny left Twitch streams, in my opinion. They have a way of finding the good content where you're like, fuck, I wish I had found that first so I could make fun of it. But they got there first. God damn it. I'm very tired. I know Chill Goblin's YouTube channel. I had 2 hours sleep last night. You enlightened a buddy of mine to the existence of Street Trash from 1987. Perhaps the slimiest movie ever made. Have I seen the Tuttle Twins? I regret to inform you that Jack Saint now has dominion over the Tuttle twins. Jack Saint is producing a video about the Tuttle twins. I cannot do it. Are you going to upload your Batman villain stream? I'm going to edit it and then upload it. Hello, slime friend. On break, my horrid... On break on my horrid but no bummers job, and I just want to send you some love. Only 2.5 hours left on my shift. We don't have a no bummers rule here. You can be a bummer if you want. People are bummers all the time. I'm a bummer all the time. If you've, in fact, Caleb Maupin says that I'm such a bummer that I randomly cause people to commit suicide. So there's no bummers rule here. I don't know. I'm not a McElroy. How do y'all just watch horror movies? They're so scary. If you watch them, they stop being scary real fast. Stephen Harper made a video for PragerU. He's made more than one, actually. Oh, I was going to do a quick YouTube Red Scare about the Tuttle twins as a return to the series. Yeah, you can do that. I was joking. Obviously, more than one person can cover the same topic. Sweet, time to bring the mood down. Go ahead, try. Hey, your video on Let's Scare Jessica to Death really freaked me out. Feels very much like what I'm going through right now mentally, but more. Should I watch the movie? I mean, if my video about it didn't make you feel good, did the music stop? Did I run through the entire playlist? What have I done? Who am I? If my video about it was enough to put you in a bad place, no, you probably shouldn't watch the movie until you're in a better place. When you're in a better place, absolutely watch the movie. It's great, but if it's gonna fuck up your day, you can wait. There are just 2 Harper PragerU videos, one on Israel. I have not kept up. I remember there being 2. I don't know if there's more than 2. Should we look forward to Jack Saint doing reviews of Critters? Listen, if he wants to take over and do the rest of the Critters franchise, that is fine by me. He can have good Critters Bite Back 3D. I don't want to watch it. I am completely done with Critters. But it scared me and I want to be scared. I mean, then yeah, watch it. If the concern is that the video scared you and you're afraid that the movie will scare you, but you want to be scared, I don't know what you're asking then. If that's the issue, go for it. But if you're worried that it's going to put you in a bad place, like there's no depiction of like sexual assault or anything like that in the movie. The others on conservative populism argued for by the least charismatic man alive. Stephen Harper is the living embodiment of a flaccid penis. Life is more scary than the horror movies, babe. Yeah, but it's in a different way. Life is scary in a, oh God, there's a lump in my breast, am I gonna die? Whereas horror movies are scary in that a Dracula's gonna get you, and that's more fun. Do you see how these things are not equivalent? Have I watched The Lighthouse? I did a whole Scaredy Cats on The Lighthouse. Is there a reason why you haven't made a video about the Gremlins 2? Yeah, what am I going to say about Gremlins 2? You know about Gremlins 2. It's one of the many Ghoulies ripoffs that came out in the 80s. You're saying I have a Stephen Harper attached to my body right now? That's horrifying. Sorry to be the one to tell you this. You should also watch Human Centipede. Like, no, I'm not going to make the joke I was going to make. That was too far. I was about to go way too far. Is it possible to have a breast in your lump? I don't own any lumps. I couldn't tell you. I'd rather deal with Dracula than 80K hospital stays. I don't think that's true. To be honest, I think if you actually were put in that situation, you'd probably go with the bill. I'm be real with you. I don't believe you. I think you were underestimating how scary a real Dracula would be. I'm in that stage now of tiredness where everything is funny to me. Also, if Dracula was real, wouldn't everyone want to be one? No. Because Dracula's spawn are never cool vampires. They're always like enthralled to him. It's not a good life. I would fight a Dracula for healthcare. That's a doubly bad idea, because if you get injured fighting Dracula and lose, you have no way of paying for it. Buffy will protect us from Dracula. Buffy's not real. I'm presenting a scenario to you in which Dracula is real. It's not a package deal. An 80K hospital bill can't be seduced, a Dracula can. The bill also can't seduce you. Buffy is a cop? Don't know about that. If a Dracula bites you, isn't there enzymes in their saliva to heal you a little? I don't think so. Tends to bite a lot of people and they seem quite dead, actually. Can I befriend Dracula? I don't know. I don't know what you're like. Do you have any similar interests? How do you feel about blood and bats and the music of the night? And do you drink wine? He doesn't. The book Dracula is about a person who befriends Dracula. I think you might want to finish the book. Things don't go great for him. That friendship goes sour, actually. Wasn't Dracula's daughter gay? If you're referring to, there's a lesbian vampire novel that actually predates Dracula. I want to say her name was Carmilla? Or Camilla, maybe? Carmilla, got it in one. How does being bit by some rando make you undead? It doesn't. You have to get bit up by a vampire and then you gotta suckle up their blood. You gotta drink down their, you gotta toss down their blood. Toss it back. Have a nice blood light, you know what I'm saying? Watch Skip Intro's video on Spooky Cups? No. Why don't you watch my video on telling people to watch videos and why you shouldn't do it? Gotcha. They win. Would Dracula accept blood bags? What am I? I'm not a Dracula expert. I can't tell you what Dracula is going to accept and what he's not. He's inscrutable to me. I don't know why he does the things he does. It's very unusual. What about space vampires? There's a movie called Vampire Wars that's surprisingly good. That was a pilot for a television series that they recut into a movie. It's very fun, and it's about space vampires. If Dracula revealed the USA Network would give him a show, it would be What We Do in the Shadows. Sick burn, but also that skip intro video is very good. Yeah, I'll probably watch it, but I'm not going to give chat the satisfaction of telling me what videos I will and will not watch. Have I seen the Dune trailer that came out today? I haven't seen it. I read the book recently. I know what happens. There's some giant worms? Boy, Bobby would love it. Duckula is best Dracula. Incorrect. Benicula is the best Dracula. Thank you for reminding me, actually. We can't end the stream until I've read some laugh out loud jokes for kids. Thank you for reminding me. If I hadn't thought of Benicula, I would have forgotten about this. Let's turn off the music so we can really focus on the jokes. I hope you're ready to laugh your A off. Folks, because we're talking about Dracula, we got a spooky joke to start off with. It's meant to be. Why didn't the skeleton go to the ball? He had no body to dance with. What kind of beans don't grow in a garden? Once again, that's what kind of beans don't grow in a garden? It's jelly beans. I'm mad that it made me smile. Why can't a nose be 12 inches long? Then it would be a foot. When does your dinner never get hot? I don't know why they phrase it this way. There's a better way to phrase it. But when does your dinner never get hot? When it's chilly. The funnier way to phrase that is, what kind of dinner never gets hot? Why did the boys shoot their BB guns in the air? A lot of extraneous detail in this one. Why did the boys shoot their BB guns in the air? They wanted to shoot the breeze. Why were the Cheerios scared of the man? Why were the Cheerios scared of the man? He's a serial killer. This isn't even okay. All right. Why did the baseball player go to jail? Can you guess? It's because he stole second base. That's nothing. That's nothing. Why couldn't the 12-year-old go to the pirate movie? Because it was rated, and this is a direct quote, it was rated ARG. ARRRGH. That's not what a pirate says. How did Benjamin Franklin feel about discovering electricity? Which he didn't, but how did Benjamin Franklin feel about discovering electricity? Shocked is correct. He was shocked. Obviously, that joke wasn't good enough, so we're going to have to read a lot more jokes. That's just such an obvious joke. I'm not even going to bother with this one. How much did the butcher charge for his venison? $1. All right. The rare, actually funny joke. What does a rain cloud wear under its clothes? Thunderwear. That was actually pretty good. I don't mind that one. How did Thomas Edison invent the light bulb? He didn't, but let's... How did, in the fiction of the joke, how did Thomas Edison invent the light bulb? People bought a copy of this book, I'm convinced. Yes, indeed, he got a bright idea. Why did the lettuce win the race? Why did the... Hey, everybody. Why did the lettuce win the race? Why do you think the lettuce? Why do you think the lettuce won the race? God damn it. Yes, Quizlet. It was ahead. This is I'm about to read the most infuriating joke of all time. And get ready, because you're going to be angrier than I am. Where do the most talkative people in the Bible live? Where do the most talkative people in the Bible live? The answer, not the Tower of Babel. Babylon, and then in brackets, in case you didn't get the joke, the words babble on. Just in case you didn't get the joke. Oh my God. This joke might actually hurt somebody. Why was the broom late for school? Sloppy Steaks is not correct. The broom was never a piece of shit. Why was the broom late for school? You're close, Frank the Great. It overswept. It overswept. Was that? Did someone ask me a question? Did somebody ask what? No. Okay. This isn't even a joke. What did the alien say to the flower bed? Take me to your weeder. I come in peas is a way better joke, and also a double entendre. You should be writing laugh out loud jokes for kids. What the fuck? What kind of button won't you find at a sewing store? You won't find most kinds of button at a sewing store. How could someone possibly guess the right kind of button? The belly button. It's not a fair joke. Ooh, here's one. Here's one that has not aged well. Here's one that is gonna get my man Rob Elliott in some trouble. Why did the ninja go to the doctor? Not starting off in a great place. Why did the ninja go to the doctor? I think you know, but you don't want it to be the answer. It is indeed something racist. It is going to be a racist answer to this joke. And not only is it something racist, it's something racist in a way that has changed. Because you see, this ninja had the Kung flu. This book predicted, some might say, began the wave of anti-Asian American sentiment that we are living in today. For shame, Rob Elliott. For shame. Also, ninjas are Japanese. Kung Fu, I'm pretty sure, is Chinese. So, check your sources on that, actually. Bud? What did the grape do when the lemon asked for a kiss? Puckered up. Why couldn't the monster go to sleep? I was keeping that monster awake all night. Why couldn't the monster go to sleep? Hey, he's afraid there was kids under his bed, you see. And that's all the jokes we're going to read tonight. What? Some funny, real good stuff. Some real good racism in this book today that really ended this stream on a positive note. Happy about that one. You buy a little book ha-has and hee-hees for your kiddos. You trust that it's not going to do anything racist, and then wouldn't you know it? Wouldn't you know it? But it gets suddenly and inexplicably racist. In a specific way that has new meaning in the year of our Lord 2021. I'm going to send you over to Zotz, of course. That's what I do when I end streams, is I send people over to Zotz. And ask him if his ice stinks. Ask him if his ice stinks, if he can tell if his ice stinks. Please. That's what I would like you to do when you go over to my friend Kevin Zott's altar. Unless it's a serious stream, and then don't do it. Because sometimes he's doing real stuff. But it looks like his dog is in view, so maybe it's cool. Looks like he's just playing a game. But ask him about his ice. How does ice smell? Do this for me. Do this in memory of me. Thank you for coming to my stream. Have a beautiful